Hi, everyone. Welcome back to True Crime Thursday. I had to think about it for a second. I was going to wait a little bit longer to start. I was still getting things set up, but I figured let me just get started. I missed you guys, and um, the stream is always so nice because it's like a nice distraction from everything that's going on. Your shirt. Oh, thank you. This is actually AB shirt, but I love it so much. Um, and it's actually so nice too. I see a lot of you saying rip shred. Of course, it's so sad, but it's not my place to talk about. So if on the show, if they want to talk about it, then I guess we'll hear more there. But no questions or anything like that. It's a tough time for everyone. That's Big Daddy shirt. You got it. That's true. Powers of Peace. Thank you for the subby. I have lots of first time chatters. Welcome everyone. So I figured let's just get into some true crime. I ended up watching that. Do you remember the Hart family we learned about? What? There's. I see Fika. Yes, yes. I heard about that too, actually. Low audio. What? Is that the case for anybody else, or am I just speaking quietly? Ada, thank you for the subby. Okay. I'm running. Oh, thanks, Avery. Also, let me pin the Discord and we can just get started. Audio was good? Okay. Pin, pin, pin. Thank you. Okay. Audio's good. Oh my god, so many first time chatters. Welcome everyone. I ended up watching that Brenda Spencer documentary. You guys, it is nuts. And oh right, thanks Avery. And it's about the first ever school shooting in this country. And it was done by a 16-year-old girl by the name of Brenda Spencer. And I didn't know anything about it before in that documentary. So it's called I Don't Like Mondays because when she was asked about it, like why'd you do that? She killed 2 people, 2 adults, and 8 kids were injured. It's so sad. And when they asked her why she did it, she said, I don't like Mondays. This livens it up a bit. And that was like she pled guilty. That was the only excuse she had for it. But yeah, it's so sad. I think it was like she'll be up for parole in a few more years, actually. She was denied a few years ago. She was denied to be let go, but they said like try again in 4 years, basically. Yo yo. Anyways, I should watch The Good Nurse. That sounds familiar. Um, but yeah, that case with Brenda Spencer is just so insane. And like Betty, thank you for the subby. And what year was this? It was 1979, and it happened in San Diego. Um, what was I gonna say about her? But anyways, it's really interesting. I had no idea about that before. I was just like scrolling, looking for something to watch the other day, and something came up called "I Don't Like Mondays," and I'm like, what the heck is this? What did you watch? A teenage daughter who tried to hide her baby in the hospital? But I did. We saw that on Explore with Us. That was also so sad. Ace the 13th, welcome. Tater Nug, thank you for the subby. All you beautiful people. Okay, so let's just get into this. It's called 12-year-old escapes death cult minutes before massacre. The case of Tracy Parks. I just came across this channel called Unseen on YouTube, and all the stories seem really interesting so far. Oh my god, puppies make my heart. Lena, I was helping mobilize a patient last night, and the Tylenol killer was on TV and thought of you. Was there like a documentary about it or something? It's so interesting. Megathor, thanks for the biddies. They said hype. Also, hi WeChat. Yes, shout out WeChat. Sam H, thank you for the subby. Okay, so this is it. It's called 12-year-old escapes death cult. don't know if any of you have seen it, but yeah, I was going through this channel on YouTube, and like a lot of their videos just have like really intriguing titles, and they're not very long at the same time. So I feel like these would be good watches.
This picture hides the most disturbing secret. It was taken in Guyana on November 18, 1978. 5 people were shot dead, including a woman named Patricia Parks. During the attack, her daughter Tracy went missing in the forest, along with 4 other kids. 1 hour earlier, this footage shows the airstrip minutes before the attack. The woman with the red coat around her waist is Patricia. Her daughter Tracy has already boarded this smaller plane. The final images capture these 3 men with guns on the right. 3 hours earlier, the camera captures 12-year-old Tracy wiping tears with her hat. As the Parks family are packing their belongings onto the truck, people from the commune show their anger, yelling at them.
Don't bring those kids back here! Don't you touch my kids!
Oh my god, that is so sad. Also, Walshy, thank you for the 5 gifted subbies. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I never understood about these families or that like go into cults and they get their kids involved. It's so awful. Like you're depriving them of so much, and it's like you're supposed to look out for your kids and do what's best for them, not freaking bring them into a cult. But then again, it's like the parents think that what they're doing is right. It's just so twisted.
4 hours after this footage was taken, 918 people are found dead, and Tracy is nowhere to be found. The events that led to the Jonestown massacre would remain a mystery, unless, by some miracle, someone can rescue its youngest survivor, 12-year-old Tracy Parks.
Today, the Jonestown story got much worse.
910 died in the poison ritual of the People's Temple.
They shot the reporters on the ground, the congressman.
It's just nothing we can do to protect ourselves or to get anybody else out of there, you know?
The possibility that children are alive has faded to very little chance at all.
We have no positive indication here that there are people out there wandering through the jungle.
Other relatives will not be satisfied until there has been a thorough aerial search of the jungle of northwest Guyana.
The year is 1966. In the quiet town of Redwood Valley, California, Gerald Parks moves in with his loving family, worried about the Cold War and a possible nuclear disaster.
Have I seen Jonestown? Actually, I don't think I have actually seen anything like a full-length documentary about it. I just know of it because it's so widely known. That's not surprised at. I guess this is a story of a survivor from Jonestown. But also, she's only 12 when it happened. Like, how much would she be able to recall?
Parks and his wife Patricia have driven all the way from Ohio with their 3 kids, their son Dale, their daughter Brenda, and their 6-week-old baby girl, Tracy. The Parks are among the hundreds of people who followed Reverend Jones to California. Redwood Valley is to be the perfect shelter for Gerald and his family, a great place to raise little Tracy. 1973, 7 years later, Jones announces that he's building a paradise city in South America. He calls it the People's Temple Agricultural Project, but it will later be known only as Jonestown. This is to be the promised land, but contrary to Gerald and Patricia, Tracy is not at all excited. August 1st, 1977. An article is published in New West magazine condemning the People's Temple, talking about allegations of abuse. Still, more and more followers of Reverend Jones make the move to this so-called paradise city. Families left behind are worried about loved ones. Months pass, and no one's heard from the Parks family since they left. November 17th, 1978. Senator Leo Ryan from California flies to Guyana with his legal aid and the NBC camera crew to investigate.
Wait, Jonestown happened in Ohio? Or just they're from Ohio? Tracy Parks and her family.
The word we were getting was that there was an armed encampment.
His goal was
God, I needed this room more than you know. Thank you, Queen Up. Might be Mojo. Thank you. Thank all of you guys.
simply to go there and try to determine if people were being held against their will, and if so, to try to get them out of there.
The entire trip to the city of Jonestown is documented on tape. The images you see here will later be found abandoned on this Guyana airstrip.
I'm from the United States government. We're here to inquire into the health and the welfare of American citizens who are here.
As he arrives at the camp, Leo Ryan is met with an unexpected scene. Cheerful children playing and smiling, adults in colorful clothing, dancing and singing.
How could you not be impressed that out
Thank
of
you,
the
Sarah.
jungles of Guyana, they had carved out a community?
Rice, black-eyed peas, more peas. Have different containers around the place. Couldn't go through all the tremendous inventory they built up. Kool-Aid.
At first glance, Jonestown really does look like a
Kool-Aid.
great place to live.
Oh, it's really nice here. We're going on a scouting mission to get some barrels along with the leaves.
They really love it here in Jonestown, as you can see.
But something floats in the air, something hidden behind the eyes. Are all these people really happy?
Some people have said they couldn't leave if they wanted to. Do you think you could?
Yeah, if I really wanted to, I'm free to go. If I was really...
Oh, thank you. Where did you get this from? Maybe give me nerds. Tony, thank you for the subby, huh? Oh, and can I have that?
If you really wanted to, I'd be okay.
And my drink off the table. Thank you.
I'm free to go. Well, I believe it. I've been here a few days, and I have absolutely no complaints at all. It is really nice here.
Scared by
When
snacks.
evening comes, the townsfolk have
He crept up on me. It's not my fault.
prepared a celebration for the senator.
It was a vibrant community. I would never have imagined that something was very, very wrong.
I think that all of you know that I'm here to find out more about. Questions have been raised about your operation here. But I can tell you right now that from the few conversations I've had with some of the folks here already this evening, that whatever the comments are, there are some people here who believe that this is the best thing that ever happened to them in their whole life.
But behind this cheerful demonstration hides a disturbing
Asaro, thank you for the prime subby.
reality. As one of the journalists passes along the pavilion, a man secretly hands him a note. The note reads, "Help us get out of Jonestown."
So not everyone was happy or completely oblivious to what was going on. Some wanted to leave. I need to know more about this.
November 18th, the following day, at 11:30 a.m., Gerald's mother,
Thank you,
Edith
Rennie.
Parks, walks up to Senator Ryan directly and says, "We're being held prisoner here." Taken aback, Senator Ryan asks Gerald if what his mother says is true.
I said, we've been here 7.5 months. We want to go home.
No one can imagine
Why did they drink the Kool-Aid then? Fairy Bong Mother, thank you for the gifted. Why did they all do it? I thought they were all like, just really wholeheartedly believed in the cult and its mission or whatever. Oh my god, this is so sad. Most of them were forced.
the horror Gerald and his family went through, but the next 72 hours will be the worst 12-year-old Tracy will ever live. Tracy's story begins in Redwood Valley, years earlier.
I think that my dad just truly believed that Jim Jones was a good man in the beginning.
Being born in the People's Temple, Tracy has been taught her whole life that Jim Jones is a man chosen by God.
Come forth, my dear. Stand up. Take that step. Bless your heart. Take that step.
At one gathering, he asks
AB, thank you for the gifted.
a woman in a wheelchair to stand up. As she slowly begins to rise, the crowd is overcome with emotion. Then, he asks her to walk.
He said, for my babies. Thanks, Big Daddy.
Move forward. Move forward, darling. You can do it.
Step after step, he asks her to move towards him. Until...
Oh, please.
When I saw it with my own eyes, I thought, how can I deny it, you know?
What Gerald doesn't know at the time is that the woman in the wheelchair...
Oh, thank you guys for the hype train. Whoops. For the hype train. Where we were. Did she walk yet? No, here. Oh, so we were just here.
Mesmerized.
Some people see a great deal of...
doesn't know at the time is that the woman in the wheelchair, who stood and walked among the crowd, was actually one of Jones' secretaries, hired for the spectacle.
My personal feelings with Jim Jones were always good ones. I always thought he was handsome. Just
We're trying to keep it
watching
going.
him.
Thank you, Megathor. I know, Alana, this is so sick and twisted. Like, Did you guys hear that? That one who got up and walked, it was actually his secretary. They fooled everyone.
I would just be mesmerized.
Some people see a great deal of God.
That's true, Betty. That's true.
They see Christ in me, a hope of glory.
But when I got old enough to realize the difference between good and bad, I noticed that all of the meetings weren't happy meetings.
Oh my God, Lena, if that made you gasp, you're in for a treat.
Every Wednesday, Jim Jones offers a different kind of meeting to his followers. He calls them catharsis, the purging of evil.
If you got caught talking to people that were not affiliated with the church, then you would be in trouble for that.
Members, even children, could be called to the front and be hit repeatedly with a paddle, while the entire congregation is made to laugh at you.
I would find myself looking around at all the adults, thinking to myself, you can't think this is okay. You just can't. I was scared to do anything wrong because I was scared I was going to be called up and be beaten.
As the Parks family is getting ready to follow Jim Jones to Guyana, Tracy is deeply troubled.
I can't figure out for the life of me why my parents went when the red flags were here.
Oh my God, this 12-year-old recognizes that there's red flags, but not her parents. That is so sad. Also, like, luckily though, she remembers so much. I feel like if I was a 12-year-old and you know, in the same situation and I was questioned and things like that, I would be so useless. I wouldn't like be able to recall. I feel like my memory is not so good. So thankfully she remembers all of this.
I want to give you more than I have. I want you to be greater than I am. And if you don't want to go this route, then go to hell where you want to, but don't bother me.
I remember landing in a little plane on the Port Kaituma airstrip that's not very far from Jonestown.
As Tracy gets off the plane with her family, the air is so thick and so hot, she can hardly breathe. The family now has to board a tractor to be taken to Jonestown.
When we came up on them gates, they were standing there with guns. And at that moment, I knew I had just entered the gates of hell.
I said, I feel like I'm making the biggest mistake of my life.
Right away, Tracy and her
Pilot,
family
thank you
are
for the
stripped
subby.
from all of their belongings, including their passports. Then, Tracy is separated from her parents.
They told my parents right then and there, she's gonna be staying in the kids' area and you guys are gonna be going to your own cottage. I was devastated.
According to Jim Jones, family bonds are selfish. But the truth is, he wants to turn family members against one another. And the best way to do that is to isolate them. Already, Tracy's father Gerald knows
Divide and conquer.
he's made a mistake. The next morning, while walking around the grounds, Gerald runs into his own cousin.
And she said, how do you like Jonestown? I said, I don't. That's all was said.
But the power Jim Jones has on his followers is already very strong. That night at the gathering, Gerald is called to the front. His cousin has told on him.
So my dad was up in front of all the people.
Sravia, thank you for the gifted.
One of the security guards came over and just started wailing on my dad. And I jumped out of my chair to go up there. And I yelled, get that bee off my dad. And this person grabbed me and said, if you know what was good for you, you would sit down.
Father cares. Father cares. You can tell in his voice he cares.
I had to act like I was one of them, but I never give up hope. I thought somehow,
So this is another survivor.
we'll get out of here.
But acting like everything is fine won't be easy, especially not for little Tracy. She discovers quickly that Jones forces his followers to work incredibly long hours. The day starts at 6 a.m. when the guards pass around yelling for people to wake up. Tracy jumps out of bed and runs to the breakfast table.
In the morning, rice and milk with bugs in it. And maybe for dinner, we had rice and gravy.
With
After
bugs
eating,
in it?
Tracy would have to run to her post where she'd work the rest of the day until dark. By nightfall, she would attend mandatory meetings of Jim Jones screaming and preaching for hours, most of the time spreading fear, talking about threats outside in the jungle.
I got a hell of a lot of weapons to fight. I got my claws, I got compasses, I got guns, I got dynamite, I got a hell of a lot to fight. I'll fight, I'll fight,
Listening to Jim Jones preach till whatever time in the morning he got done. Might be 2, might be 3. You'd get hit with a cane if you were falling asleep. The kids would just be laid all over the floor. They couldn't keep them awake.
And then there are the White Knights.
I was wondering that too. How did they get that audio? That's insane. It's always so creepy and eerie when you hear like actual audio footage.
The most terrifying meetings of all. To test the loyalty of his followers, Jim Jones forces everyone to drink a fruit punch that may or may not be poisoned.
Who in the hell wouldn't be ready for a white knight? How do you feel about it? You may die tonight.
But Gerald Parks knows that for Jim Jones, this is a rehearsal.
I knew those white nights he was having was fake at the time, but I also knew that one day one of them would not be fake.
Since 1976, Jim Jones and his close crew have been buying cyanide in preparation for the mass murder of his followers.
Ooh, cyanide. That's like from a lot of the other stories we've heard of, especially like decades old. That was a popular poison they used to use.
Needs to act fast.
And that's what, oh my God, that's what they used with the Tylenol killer used too. But that was cyanide, right? That he laced the pills with.
But the Guyana forest is one of the most dangerous in South America. Jim Jones makes sure everyone knows this.
He would often throw that in our face. Go ahead and try. Go ahead and try to run through the jungle. The panthers and the snakes.
See if you can make it to any railway. See if you can get to any passport. Try.
They found victims with injection wounds. They definitely didn't all choose to drink. Oh my God, that is so sad. Huh? Oh, I thought AB was talking to me. I'm so paranoid right now. I don't know why.
Dare you to try.
It's November 17th, 1978. Jim Jones tells his followers that Senator Ryan is coming. Jones wants to prevent a possible crisis. He takes certain precautions.
Prepping everybody mentally for you better not get out of hand. You better be on your best behavior.
Betty said, I can't even get my doctor prescribed meds. Sometimes I don't know how people get their hands on stuff like that. That's what I was wondering too. Like, where does one even go for cyanide? You decide you want some cyanide? Like, where do you get that from? Why is it easy for people to obtain?
Behavior.
I'm from the United States government. We're here to inquire into the health and the welfare of American citizens who are here.
They had a big musical, singing, dancing, and everything to make him see how happy everybody was.
Whatever the comments are, there are some people here who believe.
Avery said, fun fact, the Jonestown basketball team survived the Jonestown massacre because they were in Georgetown for an epic basketball tournament that was scheduled a month ahead. They may have lost the tournament, but they won their lives. Oh my God. So their basketball team part of the cult? They allowed that?
This is the best thing that ever happened to them in their whole life.
When hearing this speech, Tracy's heart drops. If Senator Ryan could be fooled, no one else would come and save them. November 18th, the following morning, Gerald and his mother Edith walk up straight to Senator Ryan to tell him the truth.
I said, we've been here 7.5 months. We want to go home. And he said, well, you'll be back in the United States today.
But Gerald isn't so sure. Other families begin to come forward as well. Soon, more than a dozen temple members have stepped up with the Parks family, wanting to defect. Jim Jones confronts Gerald's family about their intention to leave, Gerald wearing the white and blue top, his daughter Brenda standing behind him. Although Jones is obviously shocked by the news, he doesn't make much of a scene.
I went into a state of shock and I started crying. And I had my hat and I was wiping my eyes.
Oh my God, that's her.
I was crying in utter fear.
Although Senator Ryan thinks he can get these people home safely, no one else is convinced. While the defectors are dragging their belongings onto the tractor that will take them out of Jonestown, chaos begins to spread.
You bring those kids back here!
Hold on a second.
You bring them back!
One second, just a second.
Don't you touch my kids!
They were calling us names. The lawyer asked me, said, what's really going on over here? And I said, the bastard's gonna kill us all. That's what's going on.
Derek, thank you for 5 gifted subbies. Appreciate you.
The road to the airstrip is 6 miles long and in horrible condition. Tension is on everyone's face, but no one says a word.
My wife was on the truck. Our eyes met, and I looked at her and she looked at me, and neither one of us said anything.
As they finally arrive at the landing strip in Port Kaituma, 33 people prepare to board 2 planes, splitting the Parks family. The camera is still rolling. You can see Gerald Parks approaching the plane with his family in tow. Then, behind them at the dirt road, a truck arrives with armed men. They were followed. The gunmen open fire. Right away, Patricia Parks is shot dead. 4 more people are killed on the airstrip, including NBC reporter Don Harris and Senator Ryan.
Oh my God, that's so sad. They tried to get away. Oh, I hope you and AB are feeling better. Shauna, my wife, and I are in the same boat. Oh no, Derek, I'm sorry to hear that. She tested positive today and I'm starting to feel bad. Yep, that's what happened with AB and I didn't test positive until like officially until like maybe 2 days later or so. But yeah, me and AB were so bummed. We escaped it for so long. And it finally got us. We're much better now, though. I hope you and your wife have a speedy recovery, too.
The cameraman, Bob Brown, is also killed. Many more are gravely wounded. But Tracy is on the other plane with her brother, Dale. Gerald doesn't know if they're alive.
I couldn't get my seatbelt off. I heard my mom holler, look at my wife, Patty. If I looked back, she was sitting slumped over with her top of her head gone.
Finally, the shooting stops, and the truck drives away.
I just stood there for a few seconds, and it's like a bad dream, or this can't be happening.
That is what it's like a bad dream. Imagine being in a situation like that and you have your whole family. It's like you're not only worried about yourself, but for some like other people too.
We were expecting at any moment for them to come back.
In the smaller plane, a man who pretended to be a defector has opened fire at point blank. After shooting one of the adults, he turns his gun toward Dale, Tracy's brother.
The sound went off, sounded like the bullet came out, and my brother's hands flew back. I got out of the plane and I flew down that airstrip. God gave me wings because I don't think I touched the ground.
Gerald sees Tracy running toward him. He means to shield Tracy from the horrible sight, but she's too fast.
I told myself she was faking, so they wouldn't shoot her anymore.
I knew that I had to get her to safety. So I headed the girls towards the jungle and said, go in there, don't go too far, go in there so you can't be seen, and wait till we call you.
We just started running straight out into the jungle.
As Gerald and his mother remain on the airstrip, Tracy, her sister Brenda, and 3 other kids are now by themselves.
We just ran so far because of the fears of Jones instilling in us, I'll find you, you escape.
See if you can make it to any railway. See if you can get to any passport. Try. I dare you to try.
So we thought he was probably looking for us.
Before night came, we went back to the jungle, started hollering for the kids. And no response. That's when my heart dropped, because I knew Guyana's one of the most dangerous jungles in the world.
Oh my God.
When darkness falls, the kids find a bent-over tree to climb and spend the night. As the world around them turns pitch black, they hear gunshots.
We thought that it was them coming back to finish them off on the airstrip. We figured, okay, now Dad and them's gone. So now we don't have anybody. And that was the worst night I could ever recall in my life.
November 19th, day 2 in the jungle. Tracy starts to feel ill. Having nothing to eat or drink, her condition deteriorates rapidly. Her sister Brenda, being the eldest, does her best to keep the children moving, knowing that Jim Jones' men are probably out there looking for them. Night falls on the second day. A search helicopter flies overhead, probing the grounds with its light. The children find cover to avoid being seen. They can't risk going back to Jonestown. That night, Tracy develops a high fever. Everyone else starts to get sick as well.
And I remember just begging the creator of this universe to take me. The feeling of giving up was like a relief, that you didn't have to keep trying.
November 20th, day 3. All 5 children are laying sick and exhausted on the jungle floor. Brenda no longer has the strength to carry the group along, but she can't let her little sister Tracy down.
I just remember thinking that if we don't get out of here today, we're not going to get out at all. I heard this music out here in the middle of a jungle, Who or where would even be playing it? Where would it be coming from?
My sister hit me. She goes, "Get up."
It was like it had snapped me back to reality, which allowed me to think. And as soon as that happened, that music turned to the sound of a generator.
The group follows Brenda through the wilderness. Brenda hurries them to run between the trees, stopping at times to listen for the sound, then running again. After a long while,
Thank
they
you,
see a
Chris
group
Kiss.
of armed men
Chris.
patrolling alongside a river.
I thought they were going to either help us or they're going to take us back to Jones, and I was too sick to care.
Police come and told me that the kids had been found. For the first time.
I love how the tone of the music changed. Now it's like all heroic and uplifting.
I had something to smile about.
Tracy and Brenda are reunited with their father, their grandmother, and their brother Dale, alive and well.
Oh, Dale survived! I guess he got shot, but he survived.
When I saw him, I'm going home. I'm gonna be able to go home. And that was the first time I had ever really felt that since the day I had hit the gates to go in.
Although Tracy and her sister can finally breathe a sigh of relief, the joy of this heartfelt reunion is short-lived. They learn the details of what happened inside Jonestown the day of the attack. November 18th, 2 days earlier. At 4:30 p.m., Jim Jones calls the members of the People's Temple to assemble at the pavilion.
Oh,
The area
no.
is surrounded by armed guards. The meeting is recorded on audio tape.
Gather in, folks. It's easy. It's easy.
Jones has ordered for the cyanide to be mixed with the Kool-Aid. Then, he forces his followers to drink it.
If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace.
The tape is 45 minutes long. In it, you can hear Jim Jones making outrageous claims, speaking of an army coming to torture them.
Plain as I know how to tell you, I've never lied to you. I never have lied to you.
When some of the members protest and wish to leave, he refuses.
No, you're not going. You're not going. You're not going.
Some members take the deadly drink willingly, while others are forced at gunpoint.
Oh my God.
The scene turns to chaos, and the recording becomes unbearable to hear.
Die with a degree of dignity. Lay down your life with dignity. Don't lay down with tears and agony. Don't be this way. Oh, God.
A total of 918 people are killed in Jonestown, the first of which was Patricia Parks, Tracy's mother.
I've looked at several pictures of my mom on that day. I'll never forget the look on her face. She was a loving person. She didn't deserve to die.
I didn't see her get shot, but I saw her brains in the plane, and I saw her laying out on the ground.
They shot the reporters on the ground, the congressman. They come from the pickup, the dump truck from the other side and got off and stuck the gun to their heads, point blank.
Kids have to go back to nothing without a mom, start life all over again. I was thinking about what I was going to have to live with the rest of my life.
The world is shook by what took place on November 18th, 1978. But few lost more than Tracy Parks. All her life, she lived inside of the People's Temple, and at 12 years old, she now has to enter the real world, without her mother there to help her.
Thank you, Baby Ruth, for the subby. Yes, we are feeling better now. This documentary is glossing over how crazy it was in Jonestown. I didn't even know it was going to be about Jonestown. It's the story of Tracy Parks and her POV from Jonestown, but this is so crazy.
I just drank because that's how I hid my pain as a teenager.
For all the survivors, demons from Jonestown show up in the years to come in different ways. A pattern of violence comes back too often. On October 24th, 1983, Paula Jean Newstall and her child are shot dead by Lawrence E. Mann, the child's father. On February 24th, 1984, Tyrone Mitchell opens fire on an elementary school in Los Angeles before dead by 24th, 1983. Paula Jean Newstall and her child are shot dead by Lawrence E. Mann, the child's father. On February 24th, 1984, Tyrone Mitchell opens fire on an elementary school in Los Angeles before ending his life. In 2014, Chris O'Neill, a boy who escaped with Tracy and Brenda in the forest, is shot down by police after a domestic dispute. But not all survivors turn to violence. Even after the tragic death of her sister Brenda in 2013, Tracy Parks remains a fighter, determined to honor her mother's memory.
This is harder than I thought.
30 years after Patricia Parks' death, her daughter Tracy returns to that airstrip.
Aww.
There, she lays down 5 roses, a picture of her mother, and a cross.
I just wanted to say goodbye.
As for Gerald, Tracy's father, he devotes his life to his family. After helping to raise his 2 granddaughters, he becomes a great-grandpa to 6 girls. His family means everything to him, and he always makes sure to put them first.
I think about my wife very often, whether she hears me or not, whether there's a hereafter or not. When I go to bed at night, I tell her I love her.
Gerald dies on November 1st, 2022. In Jonestown, there was a sign hung up on the wall. Those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. Tracy didn't know what it meant back then, but today, this sign is the reason she shares her story. She says, "If I keep quiet, Jim Jones wins."
A tragedy of that magnitude affects you the rest of your life. Either you flail or you succeed. And I chose to succeed because I wanted my mom to be proud of me.
Emergency, which service?
A fire.
March 4th, 1980. The city of Stevenage, England, is rocked.
That was so sad. Like the whole family made it out except their mom. That's so sad, and they saw her get shot. But this channel, Unseen on YouTube, they have like a lot of really intriguing videos. This is another one I saw. I didn't watch it though, but I don't even know which one to pick. I'm like getting clickbaited. All these titles are so intriguing. I feel like you need to see a more in-depth video on Jonestown now. I don't know. What do you guys think? I feel like I'd have to look into it more to pick a good one. Grinding. Thank you, Nova. No. But so yeah, a lot of you were saying yes. I kind of liked videos like this though, that they were short and quick and got the whole story out. Avery said, what was the question? If some people were saying let's watch more, do like a deeper dive into Jonestown. But I was saying maybe we should move on just because I feel like a lot of you know about it already. You basically got the gist. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Another call, old news. Okay, see, and we got first-time chatters coming in to say so too. So move on to more unseen videos. That's what I was thinking. See this. Let's go to their channel here.
You ever heard the name Jennifer Schuett? Yes.
Like, what's this? Mom breaks into serial killer's house to find her what?
Pay attention.
To find her daughter. And also in the description, pay attention to the girl staring straight into the camera. After years of searching, oh, I don't want to spoil anything. It's only 27 minutes. I don't know. Like, everything looks good. So there was this one, and then there's... Oh, that's what we just watched. The 12-year-old escapes her death. Maybe that one. That was off to like a really interesting start. Where is it? Here.
Pay attention.
Shorter vids is the way to go. Keeps it fresh. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Okay, let's do it. You guys are all saying do it. I'm
into
down.
The girl looking straight into the camera. To most people, Annette Craver looks like a regular teenage girl, but something isn't quite right. Her mother, Mary Rose, noticed that her daughter wasn't the same since she returned from a recent trip to California. What she doesn't know is that, while over there, her innocent daughter tied the knot with a serial killer. In 1983, 43-year-old Felix Vale, a
Oh my god, he looks like a cult leader.
killer.
Or a serial killer. Just does not look like a good person.
In 1983, 43-year-old Felix Vale, a cult leader, manipulator, and serial killer, married 17-year-old Annette Craver, putting her entire being under his control.
There was nothing in her eyes. There was no personality there. It was like a zombie.
But the teenager still had enough sense in her to try to overcome her tyrannical husband.
She said, I'm leaving, Felix. I want a divorce. I'm going back to school.
But this was too little too late, because Annette disappeared shortly after, leaving no clues behind. Frustrated by the local police's lack of action, Mary Rose, Annette's mother, launched her own investigation, but no one expected how far she was ready to go to find her daughter and stop her son-in-law's killing spree.
And she threw out a machete, and I'm like, what in the world have I gotten myself into?
If you could rip to anyone in the chat who looks like that. That's why I'm always like, maybe I shouldn't say that whenever. I'm like, oh my god, this person definitely looks like a killer. Or, oh my god, this person definitely looks like a cult leader. When we were watching the Brenda Spencer documentary, she has like long orange hair and like big glasses. And the detective was like, look at her. He's like, a lot of people say she's just an innocent child. It's her dad's fault for giving her a gun. He said, well, no, look at her. She looks like a killer. You could tell something is off about her. And she literally just looks like a normal teenager.
You didn't worry about the risks. I don't worry about the risk. I just wanted to know the truth.
September 8th, 1981. It was the end of the summer in Houston, Texas. 15-year-old Annette and her mother Mary were having a yard sale to sell off the last remaining items belonging to Annette's late father, who died in a car crash 2 years prior. Unbeknownst to Mary, her daughter was still struggling with the loss of her father.
This is your friend Annette, and here
True. You gotta have a record if you look like him, though. Fair enough.
is your long-awaited tape. Hope you like it.
She spent a lot of time alone. She was always writing poetry and drawing, picked up the guitar.
This kind of solitude and isolation concerned Mary.
Okay, I really, really hope she finds her daughter alive. Because I'm so inspired by this story, like the mom going out of her way and doing everything she can because the cops just aren't doing enough.
I'm sure missed her dad more than I realized. I even asked her one time if she thought she needed to see someone to talk, and she said, no, Mom, I'm fine.
But the truth was that, behind her mother's back, Annette made a new friend, a charming, yet much older man she met in the city. At 40 years old, Felix Vale was even older than Mary herself, so when he showed up at the yard sale, talking it up to her daughter, she didn't think of him as a potential threat.
I think I may have seen him on his motorcycle. He was just another customer.
Mary was very preoccupied at the time. Since the death of Annette's father, she simply couldn't find any work in Houston. She needed to move away to be able to provide for her daughter, but lacked the money to do so, until an opportunity arose in the neighboring state in Oklahoma. The only issue was that Annette, who had already skipped 2 grades, was about to graduate from high school, and Mary knew that moving away could compromise her progress, so she decided to leave her in the care of a friend for a few months while she temporarily left for work, a decision she'd later come to regret when she learned that the mysterious stranger she met at the yard sale was getting closer and closer to her underage daughter.
She did mention in letters that Felix stopped by, but I didn't know that there was intimacy. And then I learned that Felix made many, many visits. I regret that I left, and she even said to me in a letter, I feel like you abandoned me.
With Mary away, Felix easily manipulated Annette and convinced her to go on a road trip with him after her graduation. Meanwhile, Mary saved money for months and was eager to announce to her daughter that she bought a house for them under both of their names. Finally, they would be able to live together again. When she learned that Annette already left, Mary was devastated.
Oh my gosh, why didn't I do this differently? All the decisions I made that I would do differently now.
For an entire year, she tried to get in touch with her daughter. She eventually got a few letters, but never from the same place, until the day she received a dreaded call from Annette asking for her approval to marry Felix in California.
I said, why don't you wait till you turn 18?
She's not even 18 yet. Oh my god, this guy.
This is a big mistake. She said, I love you, Mom, and we'll go to Mexico and get married.
Fearing that saying no would push her daughter away, Mary had to make a choice, another difficult decision that still haunts her to this day.
I don't want to estrange her from me, and I trusted her. and I didn't know he was a bad guy. So I fell for it.
Through her letters, Annette explained to her mother that Felix changed after the wedding. He suddenly became very controlling and even forced her to undergo an illegal abortion after she became pregnant with his child. In shock, her mother tried to convince her to come back, and eventually, Annette found the courage within herself to break free from Felix's grasp and return to Mary Rose.
But she was not herself. She was so confused. When we were painting the downstairs and she looked into the...
This video they keep showing of her, she really does look lost and confused. I don't know if it's just taken out of context. But they keep showing this one. This is insane. I watched this not long ago. Feel so bad for the mom. No! She saves her, right?
The camera with this intense look on her face, like, what do you want from me? I think she was just overwhelmed with the way he had tried to control her and mess with her mind.
Even if she wasn't the same anymore, Mary was happy to finally be reunited with her daughter. But their respite was short-lived. Felix started calling the house over and over, demanding to talk to Annette. Mary didn't flinch and tried her best to protect her. But one day, mere weeks after their reunion, Felix came to their home, walked in without asking, and directly went to see Annette.
He spent some time with her alone, and then they approached me and said, we want you out of the house.
Mary tried as best she could to resolve this with Annette, but Felix's grasp on her was overwhelming. Forced to leave her daughter behind a second time, Mary Rose renounced her half of the house, packed her bags, and moved to California. Soon after, Annette turned 18 and cashed in the inheritance left by her late father. She then allegedly proceeded to move all of her money into Felix's accounts and deeded her house to his name. Upon learning of this, Mary immediately called Felix.
And what he told me was that he had put her on a bus and that she was going to Mexico. I hung up and called the police and filed a missing persons report.
Without any evidence or anything to look into, the police went to Felix. But unfortunately for Mary, he put them under the same kind of spell that
I'm sorry, no, he's so scary looking. I don't care, he is so scary looking.
charmed her daughter 3 years prior.
They believed Felix. He convinced them that she had left on her own. After I wrote to the DA, they didn't respond, so...
Since the authorities refused to look into her disappearance, Mary hung on to the only thing she had left, hope.
Yes, I wanted to believe she was alive. I waited and waited. I sat by the phone and I kept waiting for a call. Christmas, her birthday, my birthday.
Oh my God, I really hope she's still alive.
Mother's Day, I would stay close to a phone on those days in those early years, thinking this is it. This is the day she's going to say, hi, Mom.
But doubt sowed into her mind as the years went by.
I said, all right, if she's trying to get away from her mother, why isn't anybody else hearing from her? She had family.
After 7 years and hundreds of unanswered letters to the police, the FBI, and even to Felix himself, Mary had enough. She accumulated small pieces of information on Felix's family over the years, but this was the early days of the internet and the data was scarce to say the least. However, there was no way she would be waiting for the police to take action any longer, so she decided to start her own investigation. She began with the only strong lead she had found, Sue Jordan, Felix's sister, and drove halfway around the country to meet with her.
She told me that Felix had a wife who had drowned.
Shocked by this revelation, Mary tracked the family of Felix's first wife, Mary Horton Vale. She quickly located Will.
Oh my God, this mom is putting in work. That is insane. She's like driving out all places to get more information.
Horton.
Yeah, like cops never do anything. It's insane.
Mary's little brother, who was only 15 when she drowned in the Calcasieu River.
A lady calls me and says, you don't know me, but Felix Vale married my daughter and she's missing. And I said, oh my God.
Okay, that was, yep, okay, so that's Felix's ex-wife's brother.
Sister was so very special, so thoughtful, kind.
Mary Rose couldn't help but feel for Will Horton, who only had good things to say about his sister, but he couldn't say the same for his brother-in-law. On the contrary, his entire family resented him.
What was it like when you met with Will Horton? Did he think that his brother-in-law had killed his sister?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And so did his parents. And they felt helpless.
Will didn't spare any details regarding what he knew of the case. His sister met Felix while studying at McNeese State College in 1960. 6 months later, they married, and the following year, the couple had a son, Bill Vale.
My sister radiated over that baby. This was part of the dream. You go to school, you go to college, and you have a family.
But after the birth of Bill, things changed in the Vale household. In a similar manner to Felix's treatment of Annette after their wedding, he began to exert more and more control over Mary's life. He even went as far as to tell her that he resented having a child and that there would be consequences if she ever became pregnant again. When she did the following year, Felix exploded in a fit of rage. Before he could hurt her, Mary ran back to her parents with her son.
She had thoughts of leaving Felix. And that's why she was there, talking to my mom. My mom suggested that she go back and try to work things out, and then they would have another conversation.
Never hesitate to tell your mama you love her without a reason. Oh, Siddle, that's true. It's a good reminder to everyone. And also, Siddle said, LMAO, a baby named Bill. That is kind of funny.
But she died before there was another conversation.
It just seems like such an old name.
According to the
Bill.
authorities at the time, Felix and Mary left their son in the care of Mary's mother before heading out to fish on a friend's boat. There, Felix saw a tree stump emerging from the water and quickly maneuvered around it. After the sudden turn, Mary allegedly fell overboard. Felix then stated that he jumped in the water to look for his wife, before coming back to the shore to alert the police. From the get-go, they were suspicious of him because, to get back to the shore, he had to pass by multiple other boats, a few docks, and even a fully staffed ice house, so they arrested Felix on the spot. 2 days later, Mary's body was recovered from the river. To everyone present, the evidence clearly pointed to murder. Her mouth was gagged with a scarf.
Oh my God.
The back of her head showed a large, open wound, as if she had been hit with a bludgeoning weapon, and the sleeves of her college sweater were covered in blood. But to the surprise of everybody present and the detectives involved, the coroner had a different opinion, one that completely cleared Felix's name and immediately ended the investigation.
He was absolutely a suspect in her death.
But he was released 3 days later. Why?
The coroner, at the time, ruled that the death was an accidental drowning. As a prosecutor, how do I prosecute a murder case when the coroner says it's not a murder? So they really had to let him go.
What? How stupid. Oh my God.
It left a hole in me I have still today.
Oh my God, and her poor family just grieving over her. And they get no closure. You get a second opinion? Yeah, like it sucks when like professionals fail their jobs like that. They affect so many people.
And that, just like herself, Mary's mother had been left hanging by the authorities. Enraged, Mary rose. Now, not only was she seeking justice for Annette, but also for Mary Horton.
I never let go of hope that maybe somebody would believe what I knew to be true.
But there was no way around it. She needed concrete evidence if she ever wished to be heard by the authorities. When she shared these concerns with Mary's brother, he confided something in her. Since 1975, he has received many calls from people looking for a young woman named Sharon Hansley, Felix's next girlfriend, who also disappeared under mysterious circumstances.
Her mother called for years, wondering if anyone had seen Sharon. When she told me that, my ears perked up. I thought, oh my gosh, now I've got something to work with.
Once again, Mary Rose needed to hit the road to
Is that Mary Rose?
continue her investigation. This time, she headed to Bismarck, North Dakota, to meet with Brian Hensley, Sharon's brother.
My fondest memories of my sister Sharon are just sunshine and beads, and a lot of people describe her as a free spirit.
That was the kind of personality that permeated the late 60s in America. And since the death of his wife, Felix too adopted the hippie lifestyle. He became a wandering preacher, the head of his own personal cult. It was around this time that he met 21-year-old Sharon Hensley out on her first trip to California.
He had a way with women and just a silver tongue. I think he said exactly what she wanted to hear.
They were living from vineyard to vineyard, living on grapes and kind of freewheeling around.
After joining the cult of the Holy Order of Mans for a short
I looked away for a second and I feel like I missed a lot. Okay, this Sharon that's missing, is this after Mary? Is this after Annette? Or is this like after the wife that he killed? Secondly, a cult? What? I'm gonna go back a little because I'm so sorry, guys. I must have missed something important. He became a wandering preacher. Okay, so Sharon is after the wife. Got it. Okay.
The sunshine
Thank you, chat.
And a lot of people describe her as a free spirit.
That was the kind of personality that permeated the late 60s in America. And since the death of his wife, Felix too adopted the hippie lifestyle. He became a wandering preacher, the head of his own personal cult. It was around this time that he met 21-year-old Sharon Hensley out on her first trip to California.
He had a way with women and just a silver tongue. I think he said exactly what she wanted to hear.
They were living from vineyard to vineyard, living on grapes and kind of freewheeling around.
After joining the cult of the Holy Order of Mans for a short period of time, the couple's journey took a sour turn. Felix's drug use was becoming more frequent, along with his violent and controlling behavior toward Sharon.
At that point, I believe she was with him out of fear. She didn't know how to get out of the situation.
After visiting her family one last time before heading out to South America with Felix, Sharon called her mother to say goodbye. Felix was probably right next to her, listening to every word she said, but her mother knew, from her voice only, that her daughter was in danger.
When my mom got off the phone, she told my dad, Sharon's in deep trouble. She's crying out for help.
Oh my God.
But nothing came out of it.
I'm
The
getting
next
goosebumps.
communication they received was a letter from Felix, claiming Sharon left him to travel to Australia on a boat with some strangers they met in Florida. Obviously, the Hensleys weren't duped, but with zero evidence to go forth, they filled a missing person report, and the police didn't look into it for over a year.
The letter that we received from Felix was just bizarre. I remember plainly, clearly, just like, oh my God, this is such BS.
This wasn't until an old arrest report concerning Felix and Sharon resurfaced. Unbeknownst to the family of Mary Horton, Felix took their son Bill with him when he first left for California. From then on, Bill was forced to follow his strung-out father everywhere he went.
Oh my God, Bill.
For
That is so sad. Oh my God. If only that first wife, Bill's mom, if only her family took him. How scary to be left and raised by this guy, Felix.
His son endured his daily abuse and mistreatment until the age of 8, when he ran away to seek any help he could find.
So Bill went no shoes, no socks to the police station and said, my daddy's making me smoke marijuana and he'd take LSD and I want to go home.
This led to the arrest of both Felix and Sharon for child endangerment. Mary Rose thought that paying a visit to the now adult Bill could provide her with more clues regarding his father's whereabouts, so she packed her things once again and left for Kansas to meet with Bill and his family.
Bill Vale was very open. He was very kind to me, compassionate. He was a good man. And I realized he was petrified of his dad.
Bill was initially reluctant to share too much information regarding his father. He wanted to help Mary Rose, but needed Felix to stay away from his wife and children. But Bill was ready to take that risk if it meant he could finally get justice for his mother. What he ended up revealing to Mary on that day confirmed all of her fears. When he was 8, just before he went to the police for help, he overheard a conversation between Sharon and Felix.
He told her that he had murdered my mother. And I heard the girlfriend saying, oh, I know you must just feel responsible for it. You know, you just feel responsible. He said, no, you don't understand. I really did kill her.
Following Felix and Sharon's arrest, Bill had to testify against his own father. 3 months later, the pair was released and continued to travel together. His son was then adopted by his grandparents, but the fear he had toward his father lingered. He couldn't help but think that Felix would eventually come back. When he did 5 years later, he claimed it was only to see his son. But one detail bothered Bill: Sharon wasn't with him.
When I was about 13, he said she would never bother anyone ever again. And I knew what that meant. There was nothing I could do with his information. I just remember being so angry again that he had told me this, and there was not a soul I could tell about it.
What an evil person. Who does that? Just goes from women to women and then like just killing them off. What makes him think that he can do that? Oh, maybe the fact that he got away with it the first time so easily. So
Bill,
awful.
from this day onward, lived with the constant fear that
He is.
if he ever revealed Felix's secret, he or his family could be his next victim. But Mary Rose's quest for justice echoed his own. He too wanted closure, not just for his mother, but also for Sharon and Annette. While most of Mary Rose's investigation took place in the 90s and early 2000s, Bill Vale eventually died from cancer in 2009, but made sure to get his local preacher to record his retelling of Felix's confession. The audio clips you've heard were actually from that interview, mere months before Bill's passing.
He wanted the truth to come out here for the victims. He knew what he had heard, and he never wavered on that, never.
He called me, and it was very close to the end. And he said, at least now I'll get to see Mom.
After decades of investigating, Mary Rose finally felt like she had an actual case against Felix Vale. She still had no physical evidence, but she believed that the testimonies of the Hortons, the Hensleys, her own, and Felix's son Bill could sufficiently prove to the FBI that the cases needed to be reopened.
They had a special agent there that was working on serial killers and cold cases. He told me, I believe you're absolutely right. We are dealing with a serial killer.
But when the time came to meet them, they were coldly informed that the agent in question had been let go following budget cuts imposed by the government. Their entire cold case...
Oh my God, this poor mom is like, she can't catch a break. She's doing their work for them.
Department was affected, and following this event, nobody ever followed up on Mary Rose. She was back at square one, with nobody willing to listen to her.
I felt shame that I had gotten all the families excited about this, so it was a big letdown for me.
Even though things fizzled out, she continued to search for someone to take a look at our situation. She just had that burning desire to want to get this guy so bad. She was consumed with it.
After almost 3 decades without the net, I continued just doing my life, and I realized then I need help. I need some healing here.
In June 2011, almost 30 years after the disappearance of her daughter...
Oh my God, I thought it was like gonna be a year or so that she was looking for her daughter. It's been 30 years now, and this mom did not give up.
Mary Rose was in her home listening to the radio when she heard about an investigative reporter who solved the notorious Mississippi burning murders. These 8 murder cases, all perpetrated by members of the Ku Klux Klan, remained cold for almost 50 years before he cracked them.
I was just sitting in my living room listening, and I realized, oh my gosh, this man is not afraid of cold cases. I need to contact him.
Without a minute to spare, Mary jumped on the phone and started making calls. Quickly enough, she managed to get in touch with the reporter in question, a Mississippi resident named Jerry Mitchell.
I said, Jerry, if you knew there was a serial killer living in Mississippi as a free man, would you be interested in the case?
Well, yeah. And so she proceeds to tell me about Felix Vale.
She tried to explain the complex case to him as best she could, but one clue overlapped all the others. She recently learned that Felix moved back to Mississippi. When she expressed her intention to the reporter, his reaction took her by surprise.
She said, I'm coming down to confront Felix. I said, well, I want to go with you.
The pair drove up to the place
yeah.
in question, a remote and isolated trailer park beside the blackened remains of an old, burnt-down house.
Like there's only
By
like
now, I'm
8
starting
minutes
to get
left.
kind of suspicious about, where is he? Is he watching? I'm thinking along those lines.
But Mary didn't care. She was ready for anything. At 64 years old, she had enough of Felix Vale. She would get to the truth, whatever it took.
She gets over there, and the back window.
I'm shipping them. Seriously though, like, God bless this mom and God bless this reporter who's actually likes his job and is doing the right thing. But oh shoot, where was I going with that? I don't know. Are they gonna find her alive? Like, have they hinted to that yet?
Was missing, so she crawled inside.
You didn't worry about the risks?
I don't worry about the risk. I just wanted to know the truth.
Inside the house, camera in hand, Mary Rose stumbled upon a collection of religious texts and a large haul of weapons.
And she threw out a machete. And then she threw out another machete, and then another machete, and then another machete. And I'm like, what in the world have I gotten myself into?
After Mary Rose crawled back out of the house, the pair noticed someone running in their direction.
Mary, Annette!
It wasn't Felix, but one of his sisters, Kay Faulkner, who also lived on the property in an adjacent house. She was initially annoyed by their intrusion, but when they started to explain the reason behind their visit, the look on her face changed.
When I spoke to Kay Faulkner, Felix Vale's sister, she's like, oh yeah,
I think he killed these women.
Surprised that
His
his
own
first day of
sister saying
investigating the
that.
case was so fruitful, Jerry Mitchell didn't waste any more time. He listened to Bill Vale's tape, interviewed the Hortons, the Hensleys, and Mary Rose, then directly started to write. 4 years later, Gone, a book retelling his and Mary Rose's investigation, came out to great acclaim, collecting multiple awards. Following the buzz surrounding the book, the FBI contacted all the parties involved and reopened the cases.
I celebrated. I danced. I remember calling one of my brothers, said, Fred, I've got some good news. They said, Mary, that's not good news, that's fabulous news.
They determined that Mary Horton Vale's case was the only one they could prosecute, since it was the only one with a confirmed death. But since her drowning was ruled accidental, the police never got their hands on any evidence related to the case. Almost 50 years after the event, all the evidence and involved staff were lost to time. With nothing else to latch onto, the FBI started looking for a DA eager enough to pick up the hopeless case.
I was minding my own business, walking down the hall to get some coffee, and the DA grabbed me and said, hey, how would you like to work on a 50-year-old murder case? And foolishly, I told him I would do it.
The first thing Holland did was send a squad to bust out Felix's door and search his property more thoroughly. Amongst the mess of swords and holy order of man's literature, they got their hands on a series of personal journals stretching from the 80s to 2010.
We found Felix Vale's journals, almost 2,500 pages worth. And so in reading through the journals, Felix clearly tried to control every woman in his life, and a lot of times through physical violence.
Felix even had a whole section describing how he liked to drink raw blood, but nothing concerning the murders. With nothing conclusive at hand, Holland started to look for someone, anyone, who was involved in the rescue effort at Calcasieu. Against all odds, one man survived the test of time, 90-year-old Ike Abshire.
Ike Abshire was a roommate with Felix Vale when Felix Vale lived in Lake Charles. Ike's father, ironically enough, owned a large boat. The sheriff's office hired Ike's fathers as part of the search party to look for Mary's body. Ike happened to be on his father's boat when Mary's body was recovered.
Holland and his DA then headed off to Lake Charles to meet with Ike at his home. They're greeted by a geriatric man in a wheelchair.
Oh my, this is amazing that a murder case could be solved 50 years later.
Inside the home are piles upon piles of cardboard boxes with dates on them.
He says, I got something for you. He gives us an envelope, and written on the envelope is a single word, Keep, K-E-E-P. Open up the envelope, and then I'll pull these two photographs out.
It was the lost pictures of the discovery of Mary Horton's body. Back in his office, Holland and his team were examining the pictures when fate struck down.
The forensic pathologist just happens to be walking past the table. He looks down at the pictures. He said, who murdered her? And I said, okay, well, we got us a murder case now.
Now armed with not only a confirmed piece of evidence, but also
a murder case. Down at the pictures, he said, the forensic pathologist just happens to be walking past the table. He looks down at the pictures. He said, who murdered her? And I said, okay, well, we got us a murder case now.
Just because the forensic pathologist recognized immediately that she was murdered?
Now armed with not only a confirmed piece of evidence, but also a direct witness, Holland charged Felix Vale with the murder of his first wife, Mary Horton Vale. His arrest quickly followed, and he was sent to Louisiana for trial.
Felix, what happened to Mary?
Oh my God, look at him now.
Annette? Felix, did you murder those women?
The trial opened on the testimony of Jerry Mitchell and Mary Rose, followed by Will Horton and Brian Hensley, and closed with Ike Abshire. His retelling of the night he helped recover Mary Horton's body finally put an end to any form of doubt still lingering in the mind of the jurors.
She had a scarf wrapped around her mouth and her neck. And her neck was all swollen around it, like it was sunk in. And it looked like a big old knot, but it wasn't a woman's knot.
So without him, without his testimony introducing the photos, I can't prove it's a murder. Ike Abshire was the key to the entire case.
3 months after his testimony, Ike Abshire died of old age, but the truth he was bearing shined through the procedures. In 2016, after only 10 minutes of deliberation, Felix Vale was finally convicted
of oh my God.
Mary Horton's murder and sentenced to life.
Mary was sitting next to me, and Brian was sitting next to Mary, and we were holding hands.
We've become a family. The best part of this whole ordeal was getting to meet Mary Rose and getting to meet Will.
And when they said guilty, it
Really no words to describe it. It just felt so good that finally, mission accomplished.
Sadly, the disappearance of Annette was left unaccounted for, but more verdicts wouldn't have added much to Vale's sentence. In the eyes of Mary Rose, truth prevailed nonetheless.
The most important thing for me was that he was be convicted of murder, whether it was just for Mary Horton or all three women, and that he would serve the rest of his life in prison. This was it. He was never gonna get out of jail.
And for Sharon, her brother Ryan finally got some form of closure.
As far as for Sharon, I was able to have a memorial service for my sister, and it felt so good. I felt like I...
What, this is such a happy story? I don't think so. What, we don't find out what happens to Annette. It's like, yeah, the mom did all of this work and she gave closure to those other families, but how about Annette? She doesn't get any closure?
I fulfilled a promise to my mom.
But the same cannot be necessarily said for Mary Rose, even 4 decades after the facts.
I don't really know exactly what closure means. I haven't found Annette's body. There's always going to be a piece of me that my heart is always going to be broken.
As a way to cope with her loss, Mary Rose started to write letters to her daughter after the trial. In them, she talks to Annette almost as if she was still there to help her forgive herself for the decisions she made all those years ago, and hopefully, one day, overcome her grief.
Dear Annette, I want you to know that I'm all right. Life has been challenging and painful since you went away. The night was restless and full of ruminating about all the mistakes that I made around you and Felix, but I can't go back. I finally, and with gratitude, can weep thinking of it all. So sad that maybe my choices would have made a difference and saved your precious life. I feel like I've been suppressing tears for so many years as I've kept myself busy trying to find justice. But now the tears are flowing and they feel heavy and deep and old and very salty, as though I've been holding them inside for all this time, and now they can come out. And I can weep and feel sad, and it's okay.
Yeah, who said this is happy? I don't think this is happy. This is so sad. It's good that Felix went to jail, but this is awful.
It's okay.
No, that's true. So Annette was never found, but also Sharon was never found. Mary Rose, such a good mother. She went so far to try to get justice for her daughter. Yeah. 30 years she was investigating before, and she finally got, the FBI. Well, the journalist first. She got him on board, and then he wrote a book, and then the FBI got on board. But none of that would have happened. Felix would have still been out and free if it wasn't for her. Felix should tell the police where the body is. He doesn't got anything left. Yeah, that's true. That's so unfair for this mom. So sad. Oh, that was a lot.
Give her hand, Jennifer.
But that's why I like this channel. The videos aren't too long. They're pretty quick. They just get the story out and then that's it. The Girl in the Wall, The Disturbing Case of Katie Beers. I think that's one we watched on Explore With Us. Oh my god, all these titles are really sad. This is their most viewed video. Killer breaks down crying after 8-year-old victim is found alive. This one's only 17 minutes.
Her name Jennifer Schuett? Yes. Did you ever have occasion to come in contact with her? Yes.
Next time I'll have some palette cleansers ready, Betty. I don't have anything on hand right now, but I'll keep that in mind before I start the next stream.
Tell me about that. No.
This suspect has been on the run for 9.
What? What's the Okay. Jigglypuff said, and then Lena's body was never found. That was funny. Hold on, let me see something. So what are you guys all up to? I love that Lena has the same. I do. Oh, nice. People always would ask me about these, actually. I really like them too. Filing a kidnapping report. Watching this. What is that shirt? Oh, it's Abby. What's this shirt again? What's? Oh, I'll see. And I'm wearing it because I like it.
How you gonna wear a shirt and not know who you're promoting? It's our good friend Emma.
Yes, Emma.
Learn the game, kid.
Unicorn Uterus, hi.
Emma, who sent that to me for free because she's our buddy.
Yeah.
Right, Lena?
Yep. That's true. Hold the phone a sec. Can you talk, but just until I pull this? No, don't say that. Can you cover this for a second?
No. You can't talk and search?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I can't help you then. You're unhelpable.
I can't multitask. I mean, I'm just bad.
I'm literally watching you freak the fuck out.
I know because you're making me nervous.
Why am I making you nervous? You're literally she's rapidly scrolling, guys. Yep, it's the first link. I know. Lena always signed into everything. Okay, she's signing in, guys. I'm going to voice over what she's doing. She's signing in. She's now putting in a password. Maybe why don't you love us? I do. Y'all need to stop with the Big Daddy shit. That sounds like some slave shit. I don't like it. It makes me think of Django Unchained. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, she's two-step verifying.
Also, I don't like.
Lena said it earlier. I know it's a reference to an earlier stream.
No, it's from 90 Day Ed.
Which was an earlier stream.
Yeah, his girlfriend calls him.
Okay, so like I said, can you see if this?
Yeah.
I will take my lord.
Oh, hold on.
Or account. No.
Oh.
This is a commercial.
Oh, you're.
Daddy.
Perfect.
Daddy gives me the ick. Yeah, me too. You don't know that's perfect. Now you can see if it's perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. This is perfect. Okay, you guys. Remember that thing I was telling you about earlier about Brenda Spencer? This is it. If you haven't seen it, now you can. Thanks, AB, for holding it down. Okay, so this is called I Don't Like Mondays. And sadly, this is about the first ever school shooting in America. But done by a 16-year-old girl. Just watch.
Silicon chip inside her head gets switched to overload.
In 1979, the Boomtown Rap single I Don't Like Mondays was #1 in 30 countries worldwide.
Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like.
The song was inspired by this 16-year-old girl, Brenda Spencer. On a Monday morning in January 1979, Brenda Spencer started shooting from her house into the primary school across the street, killing 2 adults and injuring 8 children and a policeman. When asked why she was shooting, Brenda declared, "I don't like Mondays." 26 years later, Brenda Spencer is entitled to parole.
Why does she look slay? You think so?
We were granted exclusive access to her hearing and discovered that behind the eerie detachment of her original statement are now dark allegations about a seemingly ordinary suburban family. Brenda Spencer's father still lives in the house from where the shooting took place, but he has never spoken about the events of that Monday morning in 1970.
Isn't that so crazy? So she shot at the school, at an elementary school. It's right across the street from her dad's house where she lived, and her dad still lives there. Who does that? Like, something so horrific happened there, and he still lives there.
1979.
I don't want to talk about it right now if you don't mind.
Brenda's estranged mother has now broken her silence and told us that she thinks her ex-husband is responsible for the events of that morning.
I feel that her father should be where she is and not her.
Yep, this is I Don't Like Mondays.
Blocked from the home, across the playground from the home, and all of a sudden, as many as 7 shots rang out from the house. We ducked behind some cars.
In a hail of bullets, the school principal and custodian were killed while they stood in front of the school building. Police.
Oh, so it's so crazy. Like, first of all, that's so sad. A custodian got killed. The school principal was shot dead too. And then they're showing like all of this footage of what was the first ever school shooting, and it just has like this, this whimsical song playing in the background. Also, this song was inspired by this event, but even so, it's so scary too. Like all of the first responders there, it's like they've never dealt with anything before. No one's even heard of anything like this before, shooting up a school.
Brenda Spencer was a teenage schoolgirl who lived in the very ordinary San Diego suburb of San Carlos, California. After her arrest, Brenda pleaded guilty, and so her bizarre Monday statement has remained the only explanation to what was America's first ever school shooting. 26 years on, San Carlos is nervously preparing for a parole hearing and the possibility that she might be allowed to return home. Ahead of that hearing, we try to find out more about the girl whose only motive for shooting dead 2 adults and injuring several children was, "I don't like Mondays, this livens up the day."
Like, what a twisted teen. Who says that? I don't like Mondays. This livens up. Killing a few kids livens up the day. Like, what the hell?
The first person to offer an insight into Brenda Spencer was the district attorney for her parole hearing. He believes that she is still, and always has been, a threat to the people of San.
This is so interesting. Like, what made them think of doing the shot like this?
The first person to offer an insight
The
into
crotch
Brenda
up.
Spencer was the district attorney for her parole hearing. He believes that she is still, and always has been, a threat to the people of San Diego.
This is a shot of Spencer as she appeared on that particular day, January 29, 1979. Clearly, I see a sense of imbalance or disturbance in looking at this individual.
She just has red hair.
Why do you think that?
It doesn't look like a typical 16-year-old person. I think if you look at the eyes, you see, so at least I see some sense of emotional disturbance going on.
Certainly, she was the grandmother of schoolyard shootings, and later the paradigm came or has become that mad students go in and shoot up the schoolyard, shoot up their
Lena,
classmates.
pull it together. It's not my fault. I'm not laughing about the story. I'm laughing about the cinematic choices they used here. The redhead curse, no soul. He didn't have to drag her. Yeah, he really dragged her. Oh, hey, Amy.
She started it all.
Burton Ragg was the school principal shot dead by Brenda. His widow Kathy has kept their house as it was the morning he left on January the 29th, 1979.
I don't think his memory was anything to need to get away from.
No.
And, he did nothing wrong.
Did it make it harder to deal with that he was killed by a 16-year-old girl?
Yes, it did. I went to collect my dad's things a couple days afterwards, and there was still blood on the sidewalk where he died. They hadn't scrubbed.
America, let alone San Diego, had never experienced a school shooting, and as the San Carlos suburb descended into panic, the rest of the country watched on in disbelief.
Can you tell me what happened?
The principal got shot.
Okay, that's all right.
Then I got shot, and then I went in the nurse's office, and I was bleeding a lot. I just was laying there dead.
The bullet that went through her wrist didn't harm anything, didn't hit the bone, or we're just praising the Lord.
You're lucky. So terrified. It was a very, very horrific event. My mom just thanked Jesus Christ because I was still alive, and I am still alive. Certainly, it affected my life. I mean, something that's that traumatic, of course, would of course affect your life.
Basically, it was the end of my career. It's prevented being able to hold a decent job for a long time. I mean, I still dream about being a police officer and being out on the street. If I could, I'd go back to work tomorrow.
All Free Clear, you care about what washes their skin. What about what washes their clothes? All Free Clear is 100% free of dyes and perfumes and is Safer Choice certified to be safer for you and your family.
Supposed to be
for
no
a clean
ads.
you can feel good about, all you need is All Free Clear.
Y'all ever thought about the wild missions we've been on?
You guys are Rob on that. Thank you for the subby. Lena, that eye roll was everything because I wasn't expecting that. What the heck? It was supposed to be no ads. What year was this? This is 1979. But I see you guys are saying the music is so bizarre. So it's because I think they're still playing the song I Don't Like Mondays, which is a song that was inspired by this whole story. I guess they were like, oh, I guess that's okay then to use it for the background music for all of this. But it's just so weird because the situation is not matching the music. It's so sad. Are you okay, AB? She has a look on her face like this is all an inconvenience. Yeah, the way she was standing for that photo, that was so eerie too. Like, it was no big deal what she just did.
Them, this 16-year-old girl is still a frightening figure.
Thank you, Cherry.
Evil looking to me. You know, she's got these glasses and that long red hair. Just creepy. Yeah. I don't know, someone from like a horror flick. Yeah. I mean, I've never heard her voice. You know, I've never heard her talk. But just, she's eerie looking.
My niece and nephew, when they
Yeah, the town just doesn't like gingers apparently.
got to the age where they could understand this, you know, they've always wondered, no grandpa. The question to my brother was, is she going to come and kill us too?
Oh my God, that's so sad. Like the kids involved. It's so sad to hear them say things like that. Is she going to come kill us too? Or they'll say more about the kids, about the survivors.
How would you describe Brenda as a little child?
She was very active, and she was always happy and a good child, well behaved, never had any problems in school.
Brenda's parents divorced when she was just 9, but she, along with her brother and sister, stayed with her father. Dot Spencer has avoided talking to the media about her daughter, but agreed to an interview on condition it took place in the privacy of our hotel room.
Maybe she killed everyone because people made fun of her for her red hair all the time. Maybe she was just like bullied all the time. But she never said anything about that.
What they were writing, and I was afraid of what I might say because of how they painted her, and that was my little girl, and she's not a monster.
Because Brenda Spencer was only 16, she escaped the death penalty. 26 years on, she will appear before a parole board here at her prison. The American media remained fascinated by its original school shooter, and with tensions running high ahead of her possible release, ours was the only camera allowed into the hearing room.
I was wondering if these are the same glasses, do you think, that she had since she was a girl and she was arrested? They can't be. Adam Olding's prescription must have gotten worse over the years. They do have like a yellow tint to them, actually. Maybe it is old.
This is a subsequent parole consideration for Brenda Spencer. Adam, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Inmate repeatedly fired a .22 caliber rifle. When asked about a motive for the
They're saying they can use the same frames, but it's like the lenses that look tinted. Gamer glasses. Oh my God, are these like Jeffrey Dahmer glasses too? That is the style of his glasses. You guys are saying definitely not the same? But what are the chances in that she found the same exact glasses? We'll have to look back next time they show her as a young girl with the glasses on.
The inmate told her, I just started shooting for the fun of it. I don't like Mondays. This livens up the day. How you feel about this? You've been in prison for quite a while. You killed 2 people. Again, you wounded 9 others. How do you feel about this?
I'm very deeply sorry I did it.
I didn't have a right to do that to those people.
This was Brenda Spencer's first public display of remorse, and with possible parole beckoning, suggested she had now gained some insight into a crime that had shocked America. The prosecuting DA believes the events of that Monday morning in 1979 were planned and calculating, rather than a perverse act of teenage boredom. Brenda Spencer was shooting to kill.
This was sniper-type behavior. There were approximately 36 rounds fired at 150 feet from a telescopic rifle. She was shooting in a very deliberate manner to harm and to kill, and in fact accomplish those objectives.
It was very, very chaotic. Police tried to evacuate many of the surrounding homes, and then many of the school children, it was first...
About that time, massacres in the U.S. were not commonplace. Certainly, a student shooting
Where did this happen? She looks like my cousins. This was in San Diego.
another student, or maybe attacking a teacher, but a massacre dynamic was unthinkable.
On Monday morning, January the 29th, 1979, at around 8:20, the classmates of Grover Cleveland Elementary started arriving for another week at school.
It was a strange morning, and it was just an eerie, odd morning. There was frost on the grass, and there was kind of a strange feeling.
I remember walking to school by myself. I was probably about 5 feet from the sidewalk, and then I heard the firecrackers, or the bullets she was shooting, go off, and I turned around and faced directly across the street, and that's where her house was.
That was my first year teaching in San Diego. The principal always came down to the gate there, unlocked that gate 5 minutes before the kids came in. It wasn't too long that I started hearing noises.
That was the first one shot, in the abdomen.
First were just popping noises. You know, I thought maybe it was a new toy from a Christmas present.
There was some gunshots, but I thought that they had firecrackers.
It's so scary hearing everyone saying that, thinking it's just firecrackers. The last thing that would cross your mind is that it's a gun.
I didn't understand why I was on the ground.
I looked out, and the principal was flailing backward, and he had blood on his chest. And I thought, oh my gosh.
I got the news about 8:30, 8:45, give or take.
It just didn't seem real at the time.
I must have gone into some sort of shock, because time passed and I was just standing there staring.
It wasn't a gangbanger neighborhood. It wasn't a stoner neighborhood. This is a good...
I love that. It wasn't a gangbanger neighborhood. It wasn't a stoner neighborhood. Are stoners capable of this?
Good neighborhood. San Carlos, good...
That was rude. Not a stoner neighborhood. Yeah, I feel you guys. I feel you. I'm sorry you had to hear that. I know a lot of you are offended.
Schools, things like this don't happen. We
rude.
We don't have this kind of crime. My gosh.
As we were running down the sidewalk, we could hear shooting. And when we got down here to the end, there was a bunch of little school kids all huddled against the side of the wall.
As Brenda continued shooting, the police evacuated the 300 pupils out of the back of the school, where they were bused to safety.
I turned, and that's when the bullet went through my wrist, because Brenda was actually aiming. She was shooting to kill.
I remember Crystal Hardy screaming, "Am I gonna die? Am I gonna die? Am I gonna die?"
That shook me. Like, imagine a kid saying that. Am I gonna die? Am I gonna die? That should not even cross any kid's mind. Like, it makes me think of like my niece. She's about their age. And that is just the saddest thing. Well, she said, "WeChat, is this what we are?"
Absolute chaos to start with. Utterly chaos.
Other reporters with the head police incident commander, the paramedics, just a lot of movement, people running. For a while, she had just an open shooting gallery.
I was up at Torrey Pines counting money. We happened to have TV on, which we normally didn't, and they were talking about the shooting. Next thing I know, I got a phone call from the police department stating that it was Brenda and they were coming up to get me. And I said, I can't go. I've got a desk full of money. And they said, you're coming. So they came up and got
She's like, this can't wait till 5.
me.
That day, that information kind of spread fairly rapidly. Probably until I got home in the afternoon, I don't know that they knew, who the shooter was.
The sniper has been identified as a 16-year-old junior at Patrick Henry High School, Brenda Spencer.
That's my student. She should have been at school today. She's having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
The bullet went in, and it nicked my jugular vein, and then it bounced off my shoulder blade and had lodged against my spine.
I was in that house right there, irritating her like crazy. Brenda, pick up the phone, and then I was squeaking the bullhorn, basically raising kinds of hell with her.
Ow, how is he shouting to Brenda?
We start questioning.
School shootings are so common now that I never really thought about what the first one was. Crazy was only 1979. For some reason, I just thought they always happened. That was my thought exactly, too. Like 1979, that's not that long ago. And now they're so much more common.
Why?
Why? Why me?
She seemed pretty harmless.
The shooting turned into a siege situation involving more than 100 officers, 30 patrol units, and 20 SWAT team members.
Honestly, I was a little pissed that the SWAT team didn't blow the house away, and with her in it.
We went through a lot of talking. You can't believe, basically, everything it boiled down to was the fact that she hated Mondays.
Brenda, that was she left people speechless. I don't like Mondays.
And she told him, I hate boring Mondays. So you're just picking these kids off? Yeah.
Oh, that's just a dumb comment. That's just a dumb comment. It's flip.
I think it shows a callousness on her part. It shows just how callous she was.
She was a huge Garfield fan because Garfield didn't like Mondays.
Was in committing this offense.
Boredom, rage, no sense of guilt. It's frightening. And it still is frightening.
There she is. She's in custody. Come on! She's in custody.
After 6.5 hours, at around 3:30 in the afternoon, Brenda suddenly came out of the house, calmly put down her weapon, and gave herself up.
They took her to the school.
Well, I was shocked to see, just a young little girl dressed up, kind of like in army fatigues or something.
Thin, pasty skin, stringy, reddish hair. My gosh, this was just a suburban schoolgirl.
How do you describe pasty skin?
Just a young little girl dressed up, kind of like in army fatigues or something.
Thin, pasty skin, stringy, reddish hair. My gosh, this was just a suburban schoolgirl.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Tosca, hi. Tosca 101. Thank God, one dude was like, yeah, she looks normal. Because I can't get over how that one detective was describing her. Like, she looked like some kind of monster. And pasty, yeah, pasty's kind of rude too. I guess he's just talking about the complexion of her skin. What's the deal with the lasagna though? I meant to ask that because I saw a few of you guys saying that, talking about lasagna. Does she like lasagna? There's something I'm missing here. Yes, deep breath. Stretch breaks, refill your drink, stay hydrated, people. Thank you for the reminder. Oh, Garfield hates lasagna, loves lasagna. Oh, Garfield loves lasagna. That's why. Oh my God, but someone from the very, very beginning, right when this started, someone was like, does she eat lasagna? Interesting. I don't like Mondays.
Homicide division. From the ride downtown, never said one word. Very quiet the whole time.
I remember sitting on the couch and we're watching TV, and of course that's all the news was about that day was, you know, my father getting shot. We're seeing that over and over again. But I remember sitting there, catching myself, anticipating Daddy getting home so I can tell him what happened.
Since late last week, the rumor has persisted a deal would be made between the attorney for
Puff and Bean, thank you so much for 10 gifted subbies.
Oh.
Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate it. AB said, Puff the magic dragon. Is that a thing? Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Puff and Bean.
The seriousness of Brenda Spencer's crime meant that although only 16, she would be tried as an adult. A deal was struck. By pleading guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and assault with a deadly weapon, she was given 25 years to life, with the possibility of parole. But by pleading guilty, Brenda gave up her right to a jury trial and the opportunity to tell her side of the story.
She's very scared. She's very uncertain of her future. She's, you know, I was almost in tears there beforehand.
Brenda's original...
Destiny Capule, thank you so much for the gifted. AB, can you... back? I'll be right back, guys.
What's up, gang? How you doing? How are you doing? So my barber, he posted he posted a picture of my haircut, and this is what he said. Hold up, or this is the song he chose. Now, just to provide some context, when he, oh, thank you guys for the subs. Thank you, Posca. He said, "Damn, bro, if I was," he told me, "if I was, I would fuck you." And I was like, "All right, bro, appreciate that." But this is the song he used. I'm like, the meme is going too far. Wait.
My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck, my back.
That fade is crazy. Not in a good way. I feel like, listen, he did good. First time cheddar, I'm gonna be nice. But it just makes it makes me look too young, I think. The people who follow him must have been so confused. I think he did it for them. AB, have you heard Dixon Dallas' new single? I have not. Looks good. Thank you. Thank you, official. Official always 0 to 100 real quick. You want to look old? I mean, not old, but not too young. I look like some kid who would like annoy you at the mall, I feel like. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, give us a straight view. Sorry, chat's over here, so I'm trying. Hello. What's up, first time chatter? Are you not some kid that would annoy us at the mall? I would never. I look like one of those guys who says, "Hey, let me clean them shoes." Bro, those guys are the fucking worst, man. I hate those guys so much. The ones that say, "Let me clean your shoes." He goes, They whatchamacallit? Sorry, something distracted me. Oh yeah, those guys, they're always trying to get you to buy their damn shoe cleaner. But they're always changing up their tactics. And last time, the guy just straight up came up to me and he goes, "Hey, what's your name, man?" I'm like, "No, bro, I ain't shaking your fucking hand." God, I hate those guys so much. Did she put school? She did not. Did she really put school shooter in the title? Lena, don't put school shooting in the title. And your last title was good. You shouldn't have changed it. You should have just left it. Jesus Christ, man. It's rookie night. I'm gonna get that fucking bug. Let her cook. She's gonna cook her own channel. I like free shoe cleanings. Hell no. Hell no, because you know what's coming. You know what's coming. It's never free. Let her scramble. She's edgy, yeah. More viewers than normal? No, Lena's been juicing. Karen, thank you for the subby. So sweet, yes she is. She's sweet for her own good. How are you guys doing? Yeah. September, let's go. I'm so excited for September. We're going hard. I'm going hard this month. Starting tomorrow. We're gonna juice. The juice is gonna be fucking loose. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. Oh shit. Shooting in the title. Don't put school shooting in the title.
Where?
Don't put school shooting in the title. Oh, I forgot I got that drying lotion on my face too. This is just a hell of a clip right here. Just a fly going by and everything. Don't Look put school shooting in the title.
Where's the fly? Oh! All my views went up since you came.
By like 10.
Thank you.
Bye guys.
Bye. You know what I was thinking? So, are you okay? Because that song was stuck in my head, like, tell me why I don't like Mondays. Oh, they said Hassan puts it in his titles all the time. Anyways, and it made me think of the song, what's it called? Yeah, what he said. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, that song. That must be about a school shooting too. Oh, it's about that one? Oh my god, that's so sad. Yeah, yeah, chat saying Columbine. Okay, I did not know this. Oh, they wrote it as a criticism of how normalized it's become. Yeah. I was trying to think what's the message there then. It's such like a whimsical and upbeat song.
Defense lawyer Michael McGlynn still follows her case and still believes that she is not a monster and poses no threat to the public.
I think it's just an unbelievable event that occurred in her life, that the enormity of it and the horror of it will never occur again. I had no fear that Brenda would hurt me or members of my family.
She would not be one that you would think.
What do you guys think about that? What her lawyer is saying? Because he thinks that she should be let out of prison because she would never do anything like that again. But also, like, they said she hasn't shown any remorse until that one hearing where she's like, I had no right to do that. Before, it was just, I don't like Mondays. But also, like, what this old teacher of hers was saying, that you would never expect it from her. So, like, even for her attorney to think that, it's like, it goes back to that argument. Like, you would never have expected that from her. So how could we know? I think she just needs mental help, and I hope so. I hope that she got that in prison. What we've learned about, well, actually no, about jail, not prison, and she's in prison. So, but jail, if we've seen that jail is not the best, I mean, prison is probably so much worse.
She was never a violent person. I mean, never beat up on the kids in the neighborhood or anything.
They say that about every killer, though. Not really. Like, other killers showed like a bunch of red flags, a bunch of warning signs leading up to their crimes. But with Brenda, she's just like an average kid, and they're saying before that, so they didn't mention anything about bullying, just no odd behavior from her.
Always.
Oh, Janet T, I'm so sorry to hear that. We probably will be going live tomorrow, but I'm so sorry.
Very loving and caring, and then all of a sudden she does something like this. It's hard to understand.
When the parents divorced, things sort of went south then. She lived with the dad. The dad was a sort of very bitter man. He sort of hated the world. The mother, on the other hand, sort of became like a stone herself. I mean, it was like she never went out of her way to go over.
I wonder how this attorney gets paid still after all these years. Her family didn't have a lot of money, so it's probably like a public defend. No, I don't know. What would be his incentive to hold on to the case for this long and still be defending Brenda and trying to get her out? It makes me wonder where that money comes from.
For the kids, to have a relationship with Brenda. So it was a very cold, sterile environment in both places.
I mean, I don't remember her palling around or being, friendly or in any way with any of the kids in the class. You wouldn't know what was going on, It's just, Brenda, are you awake?
The money the mom had to count. It's like it seems more urgent for him than it does for even her mom.
This is the rifle used by Brenda, and because it's lightweight and easy to operate, it is the weapon of choice for school shootings in America.
This weapon basically is a Marlin. It's a 22 long rifle.
Wow, someone in chat said it too earlier, that it sounded like a 22. But also that raises some suspicion. How did you recognize that so easily?
Teenagers like to shoot it. It has virtually no recoil. I don't have to worry too much. I don't have to worry about the recoil. Just watch.
Whoa. Oh my God, that's like nothing.
So it's not kicking back. It's not.
That makes sense. That is so scary when they mentioned how many bullets she shot. It must have been so easy for her.
Not bringing up. You notice it's just a little yank.
She had opened fire approximately 36 times across the street, about 150 feet away, and had 11 hits for an accuracy of about 30% or
For a 16-year-old girl.
just higher than that.
I think she was probably a pretty good shot, yes. I think she was probably a pretty good shot.
And where did she get the weapon?
I believe her father bought it for her for a Christmas present.
That's so wild. Her dad got her this weapon for Christmas.
He buys her a 22 for Christmas with 400 or 500 rounds of ammunition. I mean, you know, it's like, hello?
Yeah, that's, well, so the attorney, I guess, is trying to blame it on the dad, saying it's not her fault. But, I mean, her dad didn't, I mean, he didn't, like, inspire a school shooting or what she did.
But, you know, I sure am not one to blame someone else, you know, unless her father was covering her hand with his and making her pull the trigger. I'm blaming Brenda.
For reference, if anyone doesn't know, this is the school principal who was killed. That's his wife and daughter.
No matter how weird her family was.
Before the current parole hearing, the only insight offered by Brenda into the shooting came in the form of a brief but bizarre news interview she gave in 1993. Brenda claimed she was hallucinating at the time of the shooting, even though her toxicology report showed no traces of drugs.
I was watching TV and I started drinking whiskey and taking pills with it, and I was smoking marijuana with PCP.
Don't do drugs, kids.
And I started hallucinating, and when I'd look out, I'd see like commando guys like in combat gear and stuff coming up. You know, I think I was trying to get myself killed.
That interview did, though, reveal the first and potentially only clue to her personality, when Brenda offered the following description of life in the Spencer household.
After my parents got divorced, it was like the latchkey kids, you know, but it was like complete neglect.
Brenda's father has never spoken about his daughter's childhood or the events of that Monday morning in 1979. In 26 years, Wallace Spencer has never given an interview. While out in San Diego, we discovered he still lives in the house from where the shooting took place.
Strange that he still lives in the same house.
Wait, that sound that they're playing for the gun, is that actually the sound the weapon makes? Because I feel like if I was to hear that first, it does kind of sound like firecrackers. Or honestly, I wouldn't immediately think that it's a gun. It is? Oh my god, when they were playing it earlier, I thought like they couldn't use the actual... That is so scary. Oh my god, that's so scary. I really thought that it was just like, I don't know, they're like mimicking the sound of a gun or because they can't actually play it, but that is so scary. Yeah, but a bit louder or turn up your headphones. Still, I would still think like firecrackers, 'cause it's not like as like
Diego, we discovered he still lives in the house from where the shooting took place.
Strange.
It's so much scarier hearing it now that I know that's the actual sound.
Hi guys, we're gonna take a quick break to order some dinner. Yes, I'm finishing up some work. I would say I need a little bit under an hour. And any of you night owls who are down to kick it tonight, we could probably stream together on my stream if you're down. What's for dinner? We're trying another Middle Eastern place because the last one was such fucking garbage, guys. I cannot get that shawarma out of my head. So bad. 60 days in. Oh yeah, we're getting locked up tonight. Also, I lost 6 pounds from COVID. Hallelujah. Yeah, 6 pounds. And yesterday I did push-ups, and I'm sore, and I realized I need to get back in shape. Got me. Okay.
Chat saying COVID makes you weak after. Because everything you ordered was late and coleslaw. Oh my god, that was a really bad day of food. Yeah, don't remind me about the coleslaw. That really bothers him. You guys ever considered movie night? We did do Twilight. watch parties. We watched all of them.
I was gonna save it for October, but maybe that could be like the finale to September. Is watching all the Twilights again once a year.
Good idea.
He still lives in the same house.
Isn't that strange?
Oh.
It is very strange. He must really like being alone.
And then, while we were filming the school, Brenda's father suddenly appeared. But as soon as he saw the camera, he hurried back into the house. Brenda's defense team believes that away from the Spencer house, she has become a different...
Sorry, what? Sure, that sounds great. You can hear the gunshot, then the bullet breaking the sound barrier. Makes it easier to tell if it's a gun if you listen for that.
person. In prison, she has proved herself a model inmate, and she even has a potential career for life on the outside.
Do you think you're going to have trouble finding employment when you leave?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because I have marketable skills.
We love that, Brenda. Also, a lot of you in chat are saying you actually really like Twilight, like unironically. I remember when we watched them, I was actually into it. There were some like memeable moments, but overall, it was like a good story.
What kind of skills do you have? What would you like to do upon release?
Isn't it crazy that like Twilight has been out like so long that our world has changed to the point that both of like the heartthrobs of a generation are both canceled? Edward, because he's 117 years old with a 17-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Or however old he is. And then Jacob just straight up like forces Bella to kiss him.
A mysterious voice from this guy. Yes, until next time.
I don't.
Why not?
Because I have marketable skills.
What kind of skills do you have? What would you like to do upon release?
Jacob was also attracted to an infant. Yeah, okay, that was just so weird. Like even for the movie, even in that time, like what's going on here?
I'd like to drive the forklift.
You'd like to drive a forklift, what you're doing right now?
Yes.
From the moment that she was taken away from that home, Miss Spencer has thrived. She spent the last 26 years of her life improving herself, not just to comply with the board's recommendations, but to gain marketable skills and to try to ensure her success once.
I feel like this is so tough. It's like, okay, they have to delve into her past to see, I don't know, why do they do this? Discuss what her childhood was like. Like, regardless if that played into it, into her crime, it's like she still did what she did. Forklift certified. She has a marketable skill, okay? That's all that matters. But yeah, it's just such a tricky situation. It's like you feel bad. She's so young. Like the rest of her life is, you know, is just in prison. She really doesn't know anything else. But then again, if you let her out and then anything like happens again, it's so much involved.
She is released.
Well, the fact that she's done so well in institution, I think, speaks volumes about her. If Brenda was an out of control, dangerous person, you know, you would have seen more evidence of that.
Everyone needs a lawyer like this guy. Years later, he's still fighting for her.
In the last 20 years.
You know, maybe she goes to the bathroom on time, washes her hair.
Oh, I think that the argument is she was a kid and she deserves a second chance. That's why they do it. Yeah, that's true. I mean, 16 is so young. Hi, Psychedelic Jimmy.
When she's supposed to and walks down the hallway without harassing somebody. Fine. A model prisoner does not a citizen make.
That was a very interesting point.
To say the human side,
from the victim's
compassionate
family
side says, let's let her out. 27 years, it's time to go. The police officer side, and of course the retired police officer side, says, hey, let her die in prison.
Oof.
What would be your reaction if she did get parole next week?
I'd get my guns out, I'd put them back together, and I would load them. And I would start carrying a weapon again.
What do you guys think? Other than the fact that his drip is insane. Do you think he is capable of doing something like that again? I mean, who can say anyways?
Because I think if she got out, she tried to finish the job.
Do you remember much about what occurred?
Not a lot. I'm sure I did it. I just don't remember everything in sequence.
Do you remember the shooting itself?
I don't remember the shooting itself.
You don't?
No.
All right.
I don't remember it, but I'm sure it happened. I'm sure I did it.
I don't know if we should really trust her on a forklift. Wait, what's a forklift? I need to see what this machine looks like. Well, I guess you guys can.
Brenda's state of
Like, I think I know
mind
what it
does
is.
remain
Oh,
potential.
forklift. Oh, one of these things that you always see at Costco. You can't hurt any. What can she do with this, though? I feel like this is harmless compared to other sorts of big machinery. Forklift Extreme Deluxe Edition. Impale you. Okay, wait. Has anyone in chat ever been hurt or injured by a forklift? Look, kids ride them and everything. I don't know. I don't think it's dangerous. They go pretty fast, but you always see them in stores. They weigh a lot. I mean, forklift simulator stream win. Oh, okay. They actually cause death and severe injuries. Fair enough. Fair enough. So I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't. Brenda shouldn't be talking about that as like her marketable skill. Oh, what? Is it gonna start me from the beginning? Okay, just a moment. I just gotta wait for a second to go back. Damn. They're really looking into a forklift. Why did I know already what forklift was? They are more dangerous than mobility scooters? Well, I guess because they're bigger, so of course they're going to be. And they could do a lot more damage at once. Okay, wait. Those videos where a forklift lightly taps a scaffold full of pallets and then buries the forklift and operator under tons of product are crazy? I've never seen anything of the sort. You know, she can literally turn people into literal corn dogs. I'm just sorry, not imagining the worst that can happen. I just see it as something that can lift things up, but you need a special license and you need to use them too. YouTube forklift failed. I don't know. I don't want to see that. What is she using that for in prison, though? Do you think? Why do they have forklifts? Okay, I'm almost going back to the spot we were. Did we hear her dad talk about it yet? Oh, here, this is where we were. So just a second now. Oh, the pallets they carry are usually what cause injuries. You know what, Infinite Worm? That changes my opinion on it entirely. Thank you. It all makes sense to me now. Wow, 7,000 injuries in the US from forklifts in 2021. 7,000. That's insane. Oh, the unloading trucks of commissary, food, etc. That's a good point. That's probably what she's using them for in prison. So that means she would be part of, what's that? The staff? What are they called? The ones who they, like, give them special privileges in exchange for, like, labor. Trustees. Oh my god, Kiki, yes. The trustees. So that means she must be a trustee in prison. Just testing your guys' 60 days knowledge.
I think if she got out, she tried to finish the job.
Do you remember much about what occurred?
Not a lot. I'm sure I did it. I just don't remember everything in sequence.
Do you remember the shooting itself?
I don't remember the shooting itself.
You don't?
No.
All right.
I don't remember it, but I'm sure it happened. I'm sure I did it.
Oh, I believe that. Because it's just something so crazy. Like, what if it's just something that, like, a memory your mind starts to suppress because it's the cause of your current situation? Like, she's just in jail, wakes up in jail every day. If she was high on PCB, I believe she doesn't really remember, yeah. That was a crazy story she told, all those drugs she took at once.
Brenda's state of mind does remain potentially fragile. 5 years ago, she tattooed herself with a hot paper clip.
Did you hear about her scratching, getting a paper clip hot and self-mutilating her chest over a failed jail romance?
The relationship didn't go well. She went into a depression and used a paperclip as a makeshift tattoo device to burn the words courage and pride on her chest.
Why courage and pride?
And that's not actually what it says. It's written in runes.
Okay.
And I think they made a mistake when they read it.
Okay, what does it say?
It says, I'm forgiven and alone.
Ouch. That is deep. Unforgiven and alone. Also, I feel like it points to her like, kind of mentality in a way, since that's what this whole hearing is about. Yeah, because she's probably mentally ill. I think so too. And hopefully she's getting the help for it. But unforgiven and alone, I feel like that's someone that should maybe not get out of prison yet.
I'm sorry, what?
Unforgiven and alone.
Oh my god, her face hasn't changed in all these years. Like her original mugshot. Such a sad reality. It really is. I know, you guys, it is so sad. Stop reminding me. I know you were shook when she said that. That's not what it says. But like unforgiven, it's like, that's true. She's never going to be forgiven. Like, and she just has to live with that for something she did when she was 16. Oh my god, I don't like to think about it. Oh my god, the music is like something you'd hear in a Michael Myers movie.
The only way of finding a way back to the 16-year-old girl who started shooting on that Monday morning in 1979 was to do what no one else had managed to do: speak to Brenda's father, Wallace Spencer.
I can't with this music. They're making it look like her dad's some kind of serial killer.
Is your antiperspirant kind on skin? 9 out of 10 who tried Dove agreed it didn't irritate their skin. The only...
Okay, just one more round of this, and then that's it. These won't come. Also, let's take a moment to say, if you guys are new here, don't forget to follow. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Why is she in jail? Okay, so also if anyone is new here, just got in. This is about America's first school shooting. Her name is Brenda Spencer. She was only 16 years old. This was in 1979 in San Diego. And now they're just kind of talking about the background of it all. This is her dad we're about to be hearing from.
And her day would consist of, she would wake up, go to chow in the morning, go to work about between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. After she finished that, then more or less she can go back to her cell, relax for the evening, eat dinner, and then the yard basically is open until 8:30 at night. That's a typical day.
Brenda Spencer has only one regular visitor, her father. Every Saturday, Wallace Spencer makes the 5-hour round trip from his house in the San Diego suburbs to upstate California to see his daughter. He has been making this visit every Saturday since Brenda was jailed.
Whoa. Wait, that's insane. My feelings are very conflicted watching this. I know, me too. Someone said it was planned and not spontaneous if she dressed for the part. They said she had a militaristic sort of get up, and it looks like it. But, I mean, she was wearing like those pants and then the bomber jacket and the beanie. That seemed kind of just very typical 70s to me. But who knows?
Do you have any idea what kind of person he is, her father? Is he a regular suburban guy, or is he a bit of a strange weirdo? I mean, does anyone really know?
I don't have enough information to really comment on the character of her father. The only information I would have is she felt neglected by him and had accused him of sexual molest and forcing her to share a bedroom with him or a bed with him. I don't know whether or not those allegations are founded or not. These are just things that she has said.
In 2001, Brenda Spencer suddenly and unexpectedly revealed that she had been sexually abused by her father.
Oh my God, it's kind of like Casey Anthony. That's what she said too in her trial, just randomly, like even though she's never accused her dad of this before, but she said that she was essayed by her dad.
Claims were treated with skepticism. Why was she only talking about this now, over 20 years after the event? Neither of Brenda's parents have ever spoken about these abuse allegations. We now had a chance to ask her mother.
You and Brenda's father, Wallace, got divorced?
Yes, yes, in 1972. He was fooling around with other women. And he come home one night, asked me if he could leave for a year if I'd let him come back. And he'd already rented an apartment somewhere, and I just laughed. And a few days later, I filed for divorce.
So why do you think he got custody of the children?
It was in a time when the court system was swaying back and forth, and he got the two older ones to say that they wanted to stay with him. And then so they didn't want to split up the three, so he naturally got Brenda.
Within a year of Brenda being jailed, her father remarried. Wallace Spencer's new wife, who quickly moved in with him, looked so like his daughter that some people thought Brenda Spencer had actually been released from prison.
I can recall about a year after Brenda was committed, getting a call from one of the detectives wondering what Brenda was doing out. This girl looked very similar to...
Oh my God, that's sick.
Very
much alike like Brenda.
That's
Sheila
sickening.
was her cellmate up at Juvenile Hall. And she was released to go to a halfway house. And she went to it, but she ran away from it and went to Wally's house. And he proceeded to get her pregnant. So they had to get married or go to jail, either one. So
How old was this girl at the time?
Interesting. Okay, Opossum said it would be different if he abused her and she killed him, but she killed innocent people and kids. That's a good point. Like, what did they have to do with any of this?
younger than Brenda.
17-year-old cellmate? That's weird.
That is so weird.
That's strange.
Her stepmother is younger than her.
And
It's
that
disgusting.
Sort of raised a lot of eyebrows.
Is that, is he a pedophile? Who knows?
And so they got married and had a daughter. And shortly after that, Sheila left and left the daughter with Wally.
Yeah, tragedy all around.
We met Brenda's half-sister, who lives with her father Wallace. She was friendly and currently studying sociology at the University of California, but she didn't want to speak on camera about her half-sister or father.
And I'm thinking, no, I don't, maybe they're not normal suburbanites.
Yeah, random upbeat music. This is so different from what they were playing earlier.
We know, I mean, one of my experts did get out of Brenda that she had shared the same bedroom with him for quite some time. But he also mentioned, and she mentioned, that she would come in and sort of fondle his hair.
Were you ever aware that they used to share a bed?
Yes.
Fondle his hair?
Unfortunately, I am. And actually, he didn't have much furniture. I think they slept on a mattress in the floor.
In Brenda Spencer's parole hearing, her relationship with her father became the focus of the commissioner's inquiry.
Now, in regards to your family, are you still in contact with any of your family?
I'm still in contact with my father.
What's your relationship with your father?
We've gotten to be friends.
And that was not the case when you were younger?
No, when I was younger, we had a lot of problems. There's a lot of abuse.
What do you remember in regards to abuse by your father?
I remember being hit in the face a lot, being hit in the ribs, being yelled at, called names. I remember him coming home from work and being all mad and smacking me in the head, and I don't know, different nights when he would just almost rape me.
When you say almost, what do you mean almost?
Well, it was like that, like he did.
I don't understand.
Like he would touch me inappropriately.
This is the first she spoke of it. So awful and sad.
I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, because how do you? Like, she probably wants to get the point across, but like physically she can't get herself to even say the words because how disgusting and like, oh my god. Oh my god, that sucks, and having to talk about it in front of a room full of people.
Were you ever aware about being abused by her father, Wallace?
No, I wasn't. I had suspicions after they moved over there and that, but she would never really tell me.
Why did you have suspicions?
Just the way she would be acting and very evasive if you asked her anything, and it wasn't her. So I knew something was wrong.
You know, the more sort of what I gathered from everything I knew about the family.
But she's friends with him now. That's a good point too. I mean, he comes up every single week to see her, and that's a long drive. This is just so weird. But I think she is telling the truth, especially the fact that her dad ended up marrying someone who looks just like her and is actually even younger than her. That's so disturbing.
Was that Brenda was the dad's pet.
I mean, were you never ever tempted to try and fight for custody and get her back and say, well, I'm worried about her, I think there may be an unhealthy relationship with her father developing?
No, I couldn't really afford the attorney that I'd have to get, and what have you, to do it.
Obviously, your father was given custody of all siblings. Did you get to see your mother much?
Not a lot.
What was your relationship with your mother at that time?
Well, sometimes I'd stop by her house, but she didn't much seem to care to see us or anything.
No, that's not true. I'd see her maybe once a week, and then she'd come over and spend a part of the weekend with me. And I'd come home from work, and she'd be sitting at the door waiting for me to come home.
Yeah, I wonder why her mom never goes to see her. They just completely dropped her.
So we.
Especially, it's weird for the mom because she thinks it's not her daughter's fault. She thinks it's more the dad to blame.
Talk and what have you.
Okay, but she wasn't able to get a letter to us this week? All right. I thought you told me you weren't in contact with her anymore.
I haven't been lately,
Well, how
but
long
in the
is late?
past I have. It's been about 5 years since I talked to my mom.
5 years?
Brenda did start having problems at school, and they did send her to a special school. And I had one interview with one of the people, and they did say at that time that she was kind of suicidal.
What age was that? What age was
It was just probably a few months before the Christmas that he bought her the gun.
And did you ever talk to Brenda about why she started having problems at school, or how she might have been possibly suicidal?
No, I never did. So I figured her father would take care of it and, you know, keep an eye on her.
Also, Michael Myers POV too. It's so crazy to me that the dad still lives in that same house. Like, how? And I wonder if enough people know about it that they like go there and kind of like the Breaking Bad house or like that that killer boarding house. I've literally never even heard of this.
Brenda's father, Wallace, was inside the house, his van parked in the driveway. But when I went to the house, he told me to go away and leave him alone.
Since the day of the shooting on the 29th
Beard and Chair, thank you so much for the gifted.
of January 1979, Wallace Spencer has remained silent. We delivered a handwritten note through his letterbox.
Oh, I missed this whole stream. This is actually the one that I was talking about with the Brenda Spencer one. About the school shooting. She's only 16 and yada yada.
Explaining that we had been at his daughter's parole hearing.
I just got the new job. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Kat, what do we think? It makes me so sad that she was so young when it happened and now she'll be answering for it for the rest of her life. But do I think she should be set free? I don't know, because also you don't know, like, what if she gets pushed to that point again and does something like it again? It's crazy that she still visits with him. Yeah. But also, like, what if she doesn't have anyone else to visit her? And it's like the only person in the outside world that she talks to. Maybe her attorney, actually. Maybe he still visits? Oh, will I make this one into a VOD? I don't know. I don't know if I can. Because of what we're watching.
And we didn't enter the house. It was a strange experience. Just as we were about to start the interview, children started coming out of the school across the road. Wallace, there are some people who say that you were responsible for the shooting because you bought her the gun for Christmas. What would you say to those people?
Oh. Well, I'd say it's, it's none of their damn business.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I think the biggest change is that at 16, she inflicted her pain on others, but at her current age, inflicted the pain on herself, self-mutilation. Some improvement, but needs to be... Oh my God, that's so sad to think about. Just had like a life of pain, emotional pain. And then just learning how to deal with it.
But bought a rifle for her
And
Christmas.
this dude lives by a school. He still lives there, right across the street.
Because I thought she was ready for that, and we used to go up in the mountains, and she used to target shoot up there.
So, did Brenda ask for a gun for Christmas?
No, she didn't.
Dot said you shouldn't have given her the gun.
What's up with the angles here? Never go up in the mountains with these vibes. That is so crazy. I don't think her dad knew she was capable of doing this. I don't know. So,
Because she thought that Brenda had become suicidal.
maybe he really thought he was doing something nice for her because they go hunting together. So it was like kind of sweet in a way, in his mind.
Did you think Brenda had become suicidal?
No, I had not seen any grounds for that. I don't know where that statement came from. You know, how do you know if somebody's suicidal or not? I don't know.
Can you remember how you felt that?
He's staring into your souls. What kind of court system sees this weird guy and says, yep, let's let him have custody of 3 kids? Maybe he was different back then. This was like years and years ago. But yeah, even so.
Well, I was devastated by it, you know. I mean, I just kind of fell apart myself. It just blew me away.
I'd call him a loner. He didn't like to mingle with people. He didn't want to go
Oh my god, this up close shot is really crazy though. And it's creeping me out.
To football games or baseball games. He'd just as soon stay home.
And what was home life like before you got divorced?
It was good. It was a happy home. The kids were
Yes,
happy.
fair and true. This one is called I Don't Like Mondays.
This is me. This is my son Scott. This is daughter Teresa, and this is Brenda. I think she's about 10. She's really tiny and pretty.
And pretty cute. I'm sorry, I take back everything I said. I 100% believe. I believe everything that Brenda's saying, what the mom was saying about him. That is so disturbing. Pretty cute. That is just such a weird, like the one word pretty changes everything. Like, what do you mean? It's different to say, oh, she's so small and cute, but no, like pretty cute. Yeah, you don't say that about your child. It's like he's rating someone.
Cute.
So just a regular American suburban family. Why did you get divorced? What happened?
The story had it that I was seeing another woman, but that was just a rumor. It was not true.
And how come all the children stayed with you? That's unusual. They normally stay with the mother
Well,
when it's divorced.
I went to court and I fought for custody, you know.
Why did you want custody?
Well, because I love my kids, you know. I wanted to keep them. I wanted to raise them myself.
Dot said you wanted custody of the children because you were too mean to pay child support.
Well, oh, jeez. Well, I've heard several stories, but I went to court to fight for custody because I love my kids.
Wallace, Brenda did say in her parole hearing last week that you sexually abused her.
She what?
She said in her parole hearing that you sexually abused her, that you sodomized her.
Brenda said that? In her hearing on Tuesday? Well, that is not true.
I mean, her exact...
Whoa, what do you guys think about that? That was very distinct how he said that. She what? But anyways, about his reaction, did he seem innocent? Or did he look like genuinely surprised? I don't know. I still think he's guilty, totally. maybe he's a good actor because I feel like he kind of looked like kind of hurt. Like look in these last few seconds, he looks like hurt that she would say that.
Brenda said that in her hearing on Tuesday. Well, it's not true.
Like right there.
I mean, her exact words, and I'm just.
Well, maybe he's just like really sad that she exposed him. If he were innocent, that question would be very insulting. That's true, Katapi.
Telling you
Well,
what
okay,
I
I
mean,
mean,
hearing was that you almost raped her.
No, well, that never happened, you know. I would take a lie detector on that. I never did anything like that.
Replay? Okay, let's go back because I do find this really interesting how he responded. Because, like, I mean, it's not like he can be outraged. He's kind of an old man. What's he gonna, like...
Wallace, Brenda did say in her parole hearing last week that you sexually abused her.
She what?
She said in her parole hearing that you sexually abused her, that you sodomized her.
Brenda said that in her hearing on Tuesday. Well, it's not true.
I mean, her exact words, and I'm just telling you what
Well,
I heard
okay,
in the
I
parole
mean,
hearing,
yeah.
was that you almost raped her.
No, well, that never happened, you know. I would take a lie detector on that. I never did anything like that.
That's true. We need the narrator to tell us what the body language means and to overanalyze everything. But yeah, after rewatching that, I don't believe it either. I do not believe him.
Did your father perform
Sodomy.
And that led to digital
C-Dub,
penetration.
thank you.
Yes.
And later into intercourse.
Yes.
Yeah, oh my god, Kara, that's true. That's what I meant to say at first. Like, he looked, like, truly disgusted at first. It's what I got out of his reaction. That's why I was, like, kind of torn, but I don't know. I don't believe him. But also, it's crazy. She did say that. Oh my god, that is so disturbing.
So are you now indicating that there was actual intercourse involved?
It was, I guess you'd call it sodomy.
And Brenda's mother said to us that you and Brenda, after the divorce, shared a bed together.
We shared the bedroom. She had her bed.
She what? Prozac, thank you for the subby. Her testimony is very confusing, TBH. Okay, same. I mean, that's what I was thinking about too, because at first she said she was like R-worded. And then he was like, what do you mean? You need to that doesn't make sense. You need to say, but it's like, how do you say that you know, it's like, she's not going to just flat out say exactly what was like, and she never talked about it before. Maybe she physically can't bring herself to say that. It's like, it's just so disturbing. Yeah. And it's the first time she's talking about it, but, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting too, how first she said like, and then when she clarified that she was sodomized, it's like, maybe that was different to her. Like, I don't know. It's just so sad.
I had my bed.
Have you ever discussed this with your father?
I've tried to.
All right.
But
And
I don't
when
get anywhere.
Well, did you ever confront him?
I confronted him.
What did he say?
He just doesn't want to talk about it.
So Wallace, how did you come to
What's up with these close-ups? They don't do it to anybody except him.
marry one of Brenda's former cellmates?
It may be so hard to say out loud or think to herself it's real. Yeah, Alicia, that's what I'm thinking too. I totally believe her.
What happened
there? I don't think I want to answer that question.
Wait, what was the question?
To marry one of Brenda's
Oh, they got him.
What happened there?
I don't think I want to answer that question.
And are you still with her?
No.
No. Okay. But
You. God, you're the best.
Your daughter lives here?
Yes.
Oh.
She did not want her daughter. Okay?
Aw.
That's the only statement I will make.
But that's not what we were asking you. Like, how did you end up with your daughter's former cellmate who happens to look just like her? He's so gross.
Once these sort of the
Thank you,
allegations
Edie.
of abuse came to light, did you ever want any action taken against Wallace? Did you want the police involved?
I would have liked to have him, yes, but there wasn't enough evidence to do anything. But I would have been very happy.
She didn't fight for her daughter like the way Mary Rose did. Mary Rose, now that's a persistent mother. This lady's just like, oh, there's not enough to do. We didn't have the resources to do all of that. Miles, thank you for the gifted.
If they had done something.
Do you have one? A drink? How are we feeling today? A lot better now. Thank you. We feel pretty much back to normal.
If Brenda Spencer is granted parole, she wants to move back to the only place she has ever lived outside of prison, San Diego, and find a job as a forklift truck driver. The 43-year-old Brenda believes she is a different person to the 16-year-old girl who...
Court, just sign these papers and you're good, Mom. Nah, too hard, fam. Exactly, Avery. Okay, thanks. Maybe you reminded me to chew my food.
didn't like Mondays.
I realize.
Is she gonna refuse to work Mondays?
Nothing I do, and no amount.
Oh my
of
god,
time.
if she ever gets released, I feel like they're gonna like joke with that wherever she ends up working for the rest of her life. She's gonna keep hearing that.
Time will bring Mr. Ragg or Mr. Sucre back, and it won't erase the fear and stuff that I've given to those kids and Mr. Rob. I just want them to know that I'm very sorry.
Oh, Phew. Thank you for the Prime subby.
And I don't know how to make it up to them. But I try every day to make myself a better person so that, because I don't want anything this horrible to ever happen again.
Did it come with fries?
Do you think she should have got the death penalty?
Oh, nice. Thank you.
It was a bad thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I can't even blame this old lady. Like, if someone took that person away from me, I would be saying the same.
Goodness. But I think that's how I feel. Or be incarcerated forever. You know, that sort of thing. If she must live. But what a life.
Her term, 25 years to life, kind of was scary because when it happened 25 years ago and she received that sentence, I thought...
What did she say? Let me
life.
see. I missed what the wife was saying, too.
But I think that's how I feel. Or be incarcerated forever. You know, that sort of thing. If she must live. But what a life.
Her term, 25 years to life, kind of was scary because when it happened 25 years ago and she received that sentence, I thought, I'll be so old then. It'll be different.
Aw, that's so sad, but it doesn't change.
It's not.
The pain just
It was
doesn't go
expected
away.
that the parole board would take at least a couple of hours to consider Brenda Spencer's case. In the event, it took them only 15 minutes to come to a verdict.
I was gonna get some fries.
All right, we have all returned. At this time, the panel has come to a decision. The motive of the crime was inexplicable or very trivial in relationship to the offense. Unfortunately, this world is filled with things that should never happen to children. However, that does not allow them to perpetrate violence on others. I know how difficult it must be for you, Miss Spencer, to be able to come out here in front of all these people and talk about something that you have kept silent for so many years. I think Miss Spencer has made a breakthrough. I think it's important because one of the most dangerous things that we ever have to deal with is a crime that has no understanding whatsoever. She is attempting not to be that person that she was that many years ago. This is not a life without possibility of parole. She does have the right to be reviewed. It is not reasonable to expect that parole would be granted in the next 4 years. Good luck, Ms. Spencer.
Thank you.
This hearing is adjourned. 5:30. Thank you. Excuse me.
This is News 8 at 6:30.
Parole board has decided Brenda Spencer should stay behind bars for at least 4 more years,
In
despite
one of the most highly publicized crimes.
So
in
it will
San
be
Diego.
2009.
I'm Bob Banfield reporting live.
NBC 739.
Do you ever feel at all responsible for what happened on that day in 1979?
Somewhat.
I think she had a
thought
big
if I
role.
could have held the family together, if he hadn't been out, fooling around, or maybe if I'd been more tolerant and let him have his little fling for a while, and that we would have stayed.
Not buying it, Dottie. I feel like she's trying to paint herself as like one of the victims here, but she could have done more.
Stayed together, that maybe it wouldn't have happened. So I do feel a little bit responsible.
I don't feel responsible for what she did, but I still love her. She's my daughter, and I go see her every Saturday if I can.
I feel that her father should be where she is and not her, for buying her the gun. And
Open Talenti and raise the jar to gelato made from scratch.
How are they going to do that to us with just a few minutes left of it? But yeah, I see a lot of conflicting opinions in chat. Oh, remember they can set up contracts to get paid for these interviews. Probably why the dad finally talked. That's true. But also he was going to see her every week. It's like not like he just completely dropped her. Like her mom hasn't seen her in 5 years at the time that this was made. What am I eating? This is chicken and rice and fries.
There, and I just like to know that she's okay and can take care of herself when she does get out. So.
But you can't explain why she did it.
I have no idea. I can't explain why she did it. I don't know.
Yeah, for anyone who needs a recap. She hates Mondays. What else do you guys need? Where have you guys been? Funky Fresh said to Avery. The bottom line is she does not like Mondays.
She started it all, and what was it, 9 months later, Geldof comes out with a song, and it was like we're going, oh my God, we didn't know whether to laugh or cry.
Oh, yeah, that was idiotic. No.
I used to work Mondays,
What?
and I almost always
What was he
used to
saying
play
there?
it at about 2 o'clock on Monday. And that's kind of when my shift would start, and I'd get in there and I'd be...
Oh my God, that is awful. That song they were using in the beginning, this poor lady who was shot, she was one of the kids in the shooting. The bullet went through her wrist. But she has to constantly hear that song.
No.
I used to work Mondays, and they almost always used to play it at about 2 o'clock on Monday. And that's kind of when my shift would start, and I'd get in there and I'd be walking in and working there, that song would be. So, yeah. I like that song. I think it's a pretty song.
knew that the song was more of a comment on what society can make you feel like. But like I said before, anything that reminds me of that day, I really don't care to hear about.
Mm. Yeah, the principal's family. Principal was shot and killed, and they're just in some. Probably hates Mondays too. She got shot on a Monday. It's very dark stuff. I think generally it seems like we all can agree on the fact that it was so messed up of her. So messed up of like her family and her background, just what she had to go through, but it does not excuse what she did to all of those innocent people at that school across the street. Also, mental health goes only so far. You have others, health issues, life issues. But her story was just so sad too, what she had to talk about at her parole. I wonder what her dad's next time he visited her after that, or if he does even still visit her after that. Let's see what happened. I am curious to know too. Okay, so at that point, this was in 2006, and they said 4 more years from her parole, she'd be eligible for another hearing. Let me see. Oh, this is from 2022. Parole hearings for 2 high-profile murderers from San Diego. Oh my God, this is her. No way, that's her. Let me show you. Is this it? The video about it? How do I change that? Oh my God, Abby just told me I've only been streaming at 720p. Whoa. Is that something I could have fixed? Are you ready, by the way? Oh my God, okay. So maybe we'll talk more about this on AB stream. We're gonna go watch 60 Days In. I'm sorry, thank you so much for the subby. So yes, let's all head over there. And we can just pick up where we left off. I'm so excited. Tell me why I don't like Monday. Oh my God, ew, do I really sound like that? Okay. Let's go. Yes, I'm so excited you guys are excited too.
60-year-old Brenda Spencer and 61-year-old Laura Troiani both had parole hearings on Thursday. Spencer, who in 1979...
Okay, now we could do it. I'm hearing the music. Okay, let's go. I'll see you guys there.